There we go. Now they should be able to hear us.
Excellent. Chat, how are you doing today?
We're chilling. Don't you worry.
We're having a great time today.
Having a blast time. This is an excellent Zur Scale stream. Nothing else happened today.
Nothing. There was no news whatsoever.
The main thing is I'm on the stream today. That's the big important thing that happened.
Oh yeah, Ethan's here.
Ethan here.
I mean, Zur Scale's so important. Ethan had to show up today, so.
It's Duskmourn, the best set this year, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you're playing constructed formats, absolutely, this set's a banger.
Oh yeah.
What's our channel name again?
Smooth.
Oh yeah, we should probably get into this. Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Every single one. Here they are.
Hey, how's it going?
Good night, sweet princess.
Good night.
All right, so
good night, stonks.
good night, stonks, indeed. All right, so obviously we have a big BNR that happened today. 4 brave soldiers lost their lives today. One of them was an asshole, so it's not really that big of a deal. And all of us took a hit here, to say at the minimum.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, it was fun while it lasted in CDH for me, guys. I'm out. I'm free.
Bravo.
Well, shit.
What's up, Bravo? All right, let's go. Matt.
All right.
Obviously, we mentioned all of us got hit. I actually do actively play these cards. I have these in my Kalia deck, just the Dockside and the Mana Crypt, though. But as I was holding up before, I actually have 7 of these cards that got hit. You want to take a guess on how much that hit for today? That's $900. $900.
Yay! Losing money.
Matt, next slide.
I got you, boo. Yeah,
900.
There you go. There's proof.
Cool.
Oh, it is not. It is not transitioning. Uh-oh.
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 Ouch, owie.
Oh, no. How's that not happen?
I don't know.
Stream. No.
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 Damn it.
The slideshow. This is what we get for not for not testing things.
This is exactly what we get.
Just Bill O'Reilly
Anyways.
Anyway, we live up to our name.
Yep.
Do we have any way of just sharing like actual screen?
That's what I'm about to change it to.
Yeah. We'll just do that and get this sorted out still. Not sure why I did that this way.
I don't either.
But continuing on with this though, because honestly, I just want to do the discussion anyway. So I got hit for $900. I think collectively Smoothbrain EDH got hit for like $3,000, $4,000, something like that.
Something
We don't
like
know the
that.
exact numbers.
Yeah. The whole channel got hit for that much. And honestly, I could not be happier.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God these cards are gone.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted these things banned for so long. Like,
If you watch our videos, you already can tell a lack of these cards when we're playing them.
Yeah.
They do not lead to fun, casual experiences. We played them in CDH because they were the best things you could be doing, obviously. But casually, they've just been sitting here for years for me. I just don't play them because why? Why would I? They just don't lead to anything fun. If I have an explosive start, my opponents just watch me play. That's not gameplay. That's solitaire, and that's what I'm trying to not do.
Yeah, that's what we're all trying to not do.
man, that is the best just random thing that showed up on the stream.
Yep, I know. Isn't it great?
Just angled Dockside.
Here we go. Here we go. I got it.
All
I
new
get it.
productions here at Smooth Radio EDH.
Maybe. I might have it. I'm just going to have to share my whole entire desktop one. Don't you worry, guys.
That works fine with me.
Yeah,
Here, we can scale it up.
There you go. It's scaled up.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go... I'll go here.
We're just going to go next one
cool.
here. Cool, we're here.
There we
Next
go.
turn.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're chilling.
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
There we go. There's Jason's proof right there.
Yep. Got hit. It's $900 that we're getting hit for. And also, fuck these cards. Fuck these cards, man.
Isn't it great? Don't you just love it?
I don't let's talk about Nadu for a second because this is the asshole of the group. like
Yeah.
this was a design mistake. Nadu was a design mistake. It said so. It's just right there in the article. If you haven't read the article by Michael Majors, who was one of the lead developers at the time for Modern Horizons 3, he showed us just what happened in the design process. The original design of Nadu was a card that gives all permanent spells you cast have flash, and then it does the whole Nadu thing, but only if your opponent targets your stuff. Cool design. We just got like Yane that does something similar.
Yeah, it's cool.
Man, it's just... I wish that we had that instead of having to go through the multiple months that was just Nadu summer. Like, both in Modern and in Commander. Like, I do agree that Nadu was actually pretty fine for CDH. But Casual, this card was not okay.
No.
I haven't seen a build of this. And, like, one anecdotal thing. We had a player on our Discord play Nadu, and another player literally fell asleep during one of the turns.
Oh wait, seriously?
Yes,
Yeah.
this actually happened at Game
That straight up happened. Screw the bed chicken, yes!
Yep.
So, from my experience with Nadu, it was one of our guys on our Discord, I forget who it was, but they had a Nadu deck that was just 70-something lands.
That is the deck I'm talking about.
That is the deck that happened. Yep.
Yeah. I'm curious who fell asleep, but I'll ask y'all later. Like, when it can keep up with 70 lands, from Zur Scale perspective, that's a 10, right?
Yeah, and that's like not even an anecdotal thing. Like Zur Scale, one of the things that we put, the rating for a 10 is turbo dumb, absolutely broken, impossible not to break without completely violating color support. This deck could do well against 5s and 6s with 70 lands and a few choice spells. That has been in there for years.
That has been
the definition.
proven. It was proven.
Proven.
Also, Sammy, talking smack in the chat, by the way.
I mean, true, Sammy, but also, it's still funny.
It's still very funny.
That was Sammy's deck, right?
Yep,
Yeah, that was
Sammy's deck.
Sammy, thank you for teaching me the ways of the bin chicken.
I'm
glad it's gone.
07s to the bin
07s
chicken.
for your-
And I will say, I do
chicken.
actually genuinely appreciate that build of Nadu because it was funny, but at the same time, fuck this card.
I will say, to give my 2 cents on it, as somebody who enjoyed, this was like the only breath of fresh air for CDH for the longest time. I am a little sad that it has disappeared. But overall, fuck this fucking card.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt and I were talking about it earlier. You said, the meta was very stale for you.
The meta was super stale. So...
And Nadu was just a straight injection into the CDH meta, which, honestly, it was fine.
Yep.
But, not for casual. I can't stand it. No, I can't deal with this in casual.
Nope. So anyways, next offender.
Mana Crypt. Go to jail. Just go to jail and stay there. This card is stupid. This was the strongest card in EDH, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone had a take today that it was worse Soul Ring, which is just factually wrong. Correct?
Actually incorrect.
Okay. I'm glad we're in agreement on that, because 0 is a less than 1 from my understanding of how math works.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also 3 mana on turn 1 is much better than 2 generic mana on turn 1.
Yes.
That just is the case. And while both of them lead to you having 4 mana on turn 2, being able to play a 3-drop spell, aka Rhystic Study, on turn 1 is so much better.
Even from a casual perspective, turn 1 Kadama's Reach is kind of insane. If you think about it, your parents are playing a tap land, you're going to have so much mana on turn 2 and just run away with the game.
So let's talk about the other elephants in the room. Why didn't Mox Diamond and Chromox get hit? They require you to lose a card.
The card disadvantage is actually somewhat relevant there. Especially when it's choice, like Mox Diamond requiring lands and Chromox requiring certain colors of cards and non-lands. It's a build around there.
Yeah.
Still not sure if it's correct, but
I don't think it's correct, but I mean, you can easily justify that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I'm only going to say, 2 things here. They distinctly called out in the article that they do not intend to ban Soul Ring. And I think it may be a fair assessment to say that any mana rock that is deemed weaker than Soul Ring would not get banned. And you could make an argument that Mox Diamond and Chrome Mox are weaker, or they're on the same level.
Yeah.
I'm going to say weaker.
I'm going to say weaker. Like, losing a card in your hand, effectively having 6 cards in your opening hand is a big deal.
7, you have a commander.
For casual commander, I would say they're on par. Or Sol Ring is stronger, but for CDH, I believe they are on par.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
And it does, again, it feels a little bit like just whack-a-mole. They hit one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been a little bit. I honestly would like all of them gone, but it's fine. At least if this is going to be the case, it's fine.
Wolfsbane, yes, because they keep on printing Butts' stuff. Dare we forget Oko at that 3-mana Simic color identity?
Can we forget Uro at that 3-mana color identity?
I forgot about Uro.
Yep.
A little too strong. Oh, wait. There was another 0-mana Mana Rock that got banned, Jason.
Yeah, this Jewel Lotus, same thing. Like, it's the same thing. It's just the commander-centric one. I would actually make an argument that Jeweled Lotus is weaker than Mox Diamond, Chrome Mox, and Sol Ring, but at the same time, I'm perfectly happy to see it gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep. Now,
I'm not losing sleep.
I pulled the Jewel Lotus. I pulled this Jewel Lotus from Creative Legends, and I still remember that, and that was cool.
This
but
one's foil.
This one's foil. I pulled it from a pack from Commander Legends.
This one's regular.
It's
this one's foil.
So this is what they call one-upping in the business, by the way, everybody.
Absolutely.
It is 100%.
But
get dunked on.
I was just more in shock and awe they actually did it. All right.
I genuinely thought it was just going to be Nadu for the next card that get banned. This is insane.
This is insane. And the fact that I saw it on the Wizards website when it's always been on the mtgcommander.net.
Because they knew the Commander website would be down.
It always crashes every time.
Every time.
Doesn't matter if there's a change or not, it's crashing.
If they had started doing that with the one prior where they said talk about the silver border stuff, that'd be one thing. Not with breaking the format in half. Personally, maybe do a test run so I'm not just punked by it.
Who else here has been proxying for a while and mainly just annoyed at changing decks? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I do when I need to, because sometimes I need 8 decks that have a Jeweled Lotus available. No particular reason.
Foreshadowing?
Definitely Jason didn't have 10 active CDH decks assembled or anything.
Nope, nothing like that going on right now.
So anyways.
Dockside.
Do we need to say any more? I feel like I've gone on my soapbox on this one for at least multiple hours.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually the card I'm the second most happy it's gone. I felt Mana Crypt was just truly not okay in the format for so long, and I've played it for years. I don't care for it. Dockside hits a similar spot for me. It's not too much far behind my opinions on Mana Crypt. This card is not okay. I'm glad it is gone. I understand it hurts a lot of CEDH decks, and a lot of players really like playing it for their goblins, their pirates, or their treasure or artifact-based decks. I understand, but you gotta listen to me. We get to play more things now. We have more options because we're not worried about Dockside. And if you weren't worried about Dockside and Casual, you're the person who doesn't pay for Ristic Study. Screw you, man.
I mean, that's just factual. Like,
man spitting
straight facts.
I did also say this is the second pirate that I can recall being banned in the past few years. So
the Hole Breacher.
Did you ever read about Hole Breacher back in 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Was that right here?
Yeah, this is the first BNR in 3 years.
As Smooth Brain's #1 Dockside abuser, fuck this card.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see this thing gone. I'm glad we get to play more artifact and enchantment decks and not have to worry about Dockside changing things. Granted, we're a channel, so we just haven't been playing Dockside on our channel much because we want to be able to do stuff. But for casual players in particular, I'm glad you guys get to enjoy your decks without worrying about suddenly losing out of nowhere to Dockside.
Yeah.
And for my CDH players out there, this is a safe space. You can talk to us, vent your feelings. Let us know how you feel about it. But also, if you were nothing without your Mana Crypt, Dockside, and Jeweled Lotus, you didn't need to have them. You will adapt, you will survive.
I'm so glad I sent you that meme when you actually put in the stream. That makes me so happy I contributed in some meaningful way. And thank you to the Scoop Face for the on point meme.
I will agree with our 07s. Let's get an 07 in the chat for Atali.
Yeah, Atali is so...
That's like the only one I'm actually upset about losing these cards for. 07s for Atali.
Yeah, I don't know if Atali survives this one.
No.
It is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
The meta shakeup's going to be kind of insane, but in a way, this is coming from someone that plays CDH irregularly. I don't get to play that often, and I really don't choose to play that often because my experience was it's always swingy games. Either you have the fast starts, or you sit and watch someone have a fast start, and you just feel like you're not playing the game. Equalizing the playing field to where the starts are more consistent, to me, feels like it's a more all-around beneficial experience.
Until a Roxai exists again.
That was the second point I was going to make. First point is I understand people like these cards and want to play these cards. And there's not a good solution at this point. Especially, the Lotus, Jewel Lotus, that's the one. There's not a good solution for that. No. And I don't want to say sucks to suck, but...
Yeah.
It kind of sucks
to
suck.
I'm sorry you lost... I'm sorry you lost your Black Lotus.
Well, yeah.
But also, you had a Black Lotus and I didn't.
Yeah. Not to be that guy, but I'm interested in building a commander cube so I can try to play some of these cards in some meaningful capacity. I think that might be a kind of a push that some people would like to go towards. If you have a consistent play group where like the Rule Zero conversations are already happening, just keep them in Rule Zero. Like this is why Rule Zero exists, right?
Yeah.
Just if you have a consistent play group, Rule Zero it.
Friendly reminder: the commander ban list is specifically for commander events and pickup games at an LGS. This is to equalize the playing field so that when you're going in completely blind, stuff isn't a super snowball. That's what the ultimate purpose of the commander ban list is. It is not something that your play group has to abide by.
It also does provide the signpost bans for some things that are not too powerful for the format, but do inform you of the types of things they would advise against playing for a good experience. You can debate that philosophy all you want, though.
Yep. We just have to get that out of the way. That we've ranted about it for a while. Yeah,
and mentioning that as well of like huge resource disparage. There's like 4 more cards I would actually really like to see banned.
Yeah, these.
Yeah, do these next. Just
anybody who thinks that this nice blue one here or this other nice blue one here is not a problem, you are the problem.
So so Ristic Study, I'm all for. Thorical, I understand the implications with the Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact. I don't play the LGS very often, and when I go down there, I have people I'm meeting down there to play. Matt, I know you play at your LGS. I know Jason plays somewhat at your LGS. Do you run into casual pods playing Thorical combos?
Yes.
With Demonic?
Yes.
In a casual setting?
Yes.
Yes.
Even without Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact. I've run into multiple infinite outlets into Thorical.
I run into it with Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact.
I have also ran into that. I'm just saying, even normally, it's... I've run into Thorical, like, we do some bullshit, draw our deck, play Thorical, win the game on the spot, nobody has an answer for it.
So I think that's fine. If we have Labman, and Jace. Thorical I think is fine, because it's a way to win the game efficiently after you have made the infinite combo, right? That to me is not the problem. The problem is when you have this 2-card combo that you can spike out of nowhere in a casual game to slot them in. That's what I have more of an issue with. So is it really the Thorical the problem, or is it the Consultation and Tainted Pact the problem?
It's the Thorical.
I would actually go the other way. I think it is more so the Consult and the Pact. Those are the bigger problems, but if you want to do a singular card, you do Thassa's Oracle. If you still want to leave that play pattern of being able to exile your deck, and do that. Now you have Lab Man and you have Jace to work with, so this leaves an option. This just reduces the best way of doing it, and adding 1 mana to anything does hurt it a lot.
Yeah.
So, and plus needing to draw a card, which is a huge
was
ask,
going to say, actually, you have a chance to respond to the winning the game through the Lab Man and the Jace. You do not with Oracle unless you counter it on the stack.
Yeah. I do want to get to some of these comments really quickly. So Seductive Swine, some people talking about Smothering Tithe. I've said for years that I find that card to be very overrated in Commander.
Yep.
Particularly because of the turn that it comes down being the most important thing. So I'm okay with it, and banning Mana Crypt was one of my conditions for Smothering Tithe being like perfectly okay in the format. Kelvin, yeah. It hurts. I feel you.
07s to Kelvin stacks.
William, as a fellow Ob player, yeah, it definitely hurts a lot. For that's one of my decks that that one might be able to live, being able to transition a little bit more into a mid-range strategy. However, red-black mid-range does not sound like the most appealing thing to play in CDH.
No.
I
mean, red especially is hurting right now. Black, you have a lot of great tools. I don't think going to Jund to have better mid-range tools is really what you want to do either, especially because Corvold just got hit super hard too.
Yeah, Corvold's dead.
Corvold is dead in CDH now.
Corvold is dead, long live Corvold.
Which is hilarious, because we're going to talk about Corvold a little bit for talking about the scale, but...
Yeah, we got to reassess if you think... I didn't even think about that. We're going to reassess.
Oh yeah, we got a couple things to reassess.
We have quite a few CDH commanders that were only relevant because of Mana Crypt and Dockside.
Dargo.
We might get to reassess.
Not my big old giant pirate boy.
Yeah, Dargo does get a lot worse, but
Dargo got taken out back and shot.
Back on the duties next slide though. Bowmasters, we just don't play it in our pods, and I usually play with y'all, so I don't really have any experience with that in the general meta. We'll see how things go in Vegas this year though, if I run into any Bowmaster pods.
From my experience with Bowman, it consistently overperforms what you think it should.
Okay.
So, very consistently, it is not draw hate, it is creature hate.
Yes. Green is the color in CDH that I would actually like to prop up more. These bans are actually really more targeted towards CDH, although the Ristic Study and One Ring bans are more casual oriented than CDH. The Bowman one is much more CDH orientation, because it just makes most decks with 1 toughness creatures unplayable because everyone's drawing cards and trying to accrue resources. And the punishment typically doesn't go at the player, it goes at the creatures.
Green won't need prop. No, green is now the second worst color in CDH. It's not the worst anymore.
Is red really the worst though?
Yeah.
I don't know if red's the worst, but it's definitely getting close.
Yeah. I used to have Breach.
Breach,
but
SWAT.
really, Breach and Jessica's Will are the only two I can really think of. These are the powerful cards.
SWAT.
You have
SWAT. Yeah, you're right.
SWAT.
Mm-hmm. And
you got 3 cards.
Will's cool.
And you do have Bergie, which I think has been a all-star in a lot of decks, more so over the past year or so.
No.
Is it really the reason to play red though? I think
there's also good uses of Twin Flame and Molten
dual cast
duplication, those sorts of things.
Keep in mind,
Gamble's
red's still going to be played a whole bunch because Blue Farm practically didn't really get hurt that much here.
Yeah, Blue Farm was one of the big winners from this, which is
your fourth game plan of playing Crom is a lot worse, but
anyways, I still get my deflecting swap for my Temno, so
yeah.
And I will say, green and casual does not need the boost, but at the same time, CDH it desperately needs it, which is the awkward thing. And I think Bowman in particular is a thing that would help CDH more than it would help casual to ban, just because yes, it's good in casual, but your casual players aren't playing Mana Dorks that often, and green would really benefit from being able to play its Mana Dorks more consistently. So,
but like I said, from what I've experienced with Bowman and casual, this is, I played at multiple different LGSs just as a heads up. My experience is Bowman always devolves into a seriously hard control piece. Like it will allow for no other creatures other than itself to be on the battlefield. That's just commander players being way too greedy. Card draw. But
yeah. Because we want to draw cards in this format. That's kind of part of the whole draw.
Yeah, that we do. Also, this is a weird take. Part of the reason why One Ring is back there is because I forgot about it initially. But also, the One Ring, I don't know what it is. Rhystic Study seems to be the card that does not get... It's almost like a Soul Ring. People just accept it as part of the format, is iconic piece here, and it shouldn't be touched. But the One Ring was the card everyone kind of like collectively decided we're not going to play. I see way more Rhystic Study than I do One Ring. And that's why I'm like not 100% on One Ring needing to go, but also I feel like it probably just should.
I think the One Ring needs to go. It bails people out way too consistently. So
I'm not sold on it.
No, thank you.
I'm not sold on it needing to go. I think that a one-turn fog and then some extra card draw, it's not the most egregious thing ever, but it just goes into every deck. I don't know. I'm not sold on banning it just yet.
It's one of your best options, and it's arguably a must-run in every single commander deck because every single commander deck can run it.
I will give you that fact that the ease of putting it into decks adds to some homogeneity. I also just want to play colorless and then untap it a bunch with Voltaic Key. So like, let me have my.
You are the problem.
You are the problem, Ethan.
You're the problem, Ethan.
Okay, fine. Come visit me and my new cat. Okay, come see me, Matt. I miss you.
I'm going to here in about a month.
Go to jail.
Yeah, here in about a month. After you come see my cat, we're going to go. Yeah, we'll be fine.
All right. We got on the BNR discussion. We good to move on to Zur Scale?
All right, I'm gonna put this to BRB real quick, chat.
While we fix things.
While I fix shit. By that I mean I'm just gonna fix it live.
Okay, Bill O'Reilly.
Are the men showing on Moxfield?
Live.
Yeah. I to make that deck of
yeah, because it's fucked up
like
here too.
7 cards that are banned. It shows them all as being banned, and I had to specifically turn on the setting to let me look at illegal cards. There we go.
Do not worry, chat. We're doing it live.
Yep. So I will agree that One Ring price is probably one of the main reasons why people might want it banned or not banned. It's hard with these bans that happen today to separate price from the equation. Hence why we were taking a very like humorous approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like losing money. I don't think anyone really does. But I think the overall health of the format is more important in that case.
Yeah. It of course always sucks to lose value on your cards, but at the same time, these are game pieces, guys. Like, they're game pieces. This is not your stock portfolio. Yeah. Please do not think of these as investments.
No.
Like,
the only ones you can think about as investments are reserve list cards.
And even then, I
wouldn't advise people to.
I mean, hey, if you want to tell me that my 50 copies of Brushwag are going to go up 20%, like, I'll be happy.
You and those damn Brushwags.
Also, if you see me and give me a Brushwag, I will give you a hug.
I'm just gonna say this, Jason. I'm real upset at you.
What?
I'm going through looking at the scale for new commanders, and they're not there.
Oh. Sorry, I gave you the names. I didn't actually put them there. It's fine. We'll talk about them later.
Yeah, because I was about to transition over to Zur Scale already, so...
With the new bans, I think Captain Rex Nebula stepped up at least 1 point on the Zur Scale.
Yep.
No. I don't know about that one, Chief.
No.
After playing the Captain Rex Nebula deck on the channel, the best part about that deck was making Jason upset over the dog. All right, I will never forget that moment. That was a smooth brain highlight for me.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I will say I'm happy I downsized to exactly 1 mana crypt. So.
Okay, ban good cards because good comes across as very... It cannot talk. Ban good cards because good comes across as very hipster ban methodology. Forcing changes because something is powerful and or played often is trash.
That can be an opinion of yours.
That is certainly an opinion.
This is a casual format.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that. While there is a competitive aspect that people play the format for, I want gameplay to be enjoyable and to be engaging. As the resident combo player of the format of our channel, I've been actually trying to not play as many solitaire decks because I want the games to actually be fun for my opponents.
Also, keep in mind, if WotC was running the ban list, every single card we showed off earlier would have been banned within 6 months of printing. Keep that in mind.
Maybe.
Like, if Commander wasn't like CDH as a format was run as a competitive format by WotC, all of those cards would have been gone because of deck percentage, right?
Yeah, potentially. I'm not convinced on that either because WotC certainly takes their time with banning for their competitive formats, so I'm not 100% sure where that would go. But at the same time, I'm more just interested in the new cards and things to talk about.
No, William Kinnan is actually one of the big winners from this change.
Only thing I lost was
it lost Mana Crypt.
It didn't really play Dual Lotus, and it can't play Dockside. And Nadu being gone allows the Simic deck. It's now the best Simic deck, in my opinion, left in the format.
Yep.
You lose out on a little bit of consistency when it comes to the Tidespout Tyrant lines or the Hullbreaker Horror lines for infinite mana. But really, you still have all the other mana rocks. And I think that you're still doing okay.
I am adding the things. We can start with.
Oh my goodness. I love it here. This is great.
This is a good day.
This is a great day. Thank you, Jason. This is fucking hilarious.
Okay,
all right. I'm just going to go down this list then, Jason.
Hold up. I want to make a point. Wolfsbane mentioned if they did insider trading for these bans, F them. I'm going to say, and this is my opinion, I fully believe that the RC would not do insider trading and ban cards and try to manipulate the market anyway.
At least not collectively.
Not collectively. If someone did, obviously I do not support that, but I have enough faith in the RC, the people that we trust who run the format, to not make decisions like that and to accept what they're doing, like the impact of what they're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Clay, your opinion is invalidated because like half the RC now is made up of CDH content creators. So
I mean, we at least have one.
We have one. We have quite a few on the advisory, like the advisory group or whatever.
That's fair. Yeah, the CAC does have a decent number of.
It's not just casual players being pissy. It is multiple viewpoints, and a lot of the content creators also play CEDH at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
So
there we go.
I just want to get that out of the way, not just more as like a hey. They are affecting a format they actively play.
Yep.
So
and again, I don't think anyone wants to make these bans.
No.
Also, for consideration, these guys are getting a ton of hate today.
They're probably getting death threats. It's not even just
easy
hate.
Probably. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of vitriol that comes out of this sort of change to the format. Again, like, personal stake of $900 lost, right? But it's okay. It's a game. We're here to have fun. It is a big change. We will adapt and we will overcome. I still haven't forgiven them for banning Iona, but that's okay. We can still work for this, you know?
I still haven't forgiven Sylvan Primordial, or, you know.
I don't actually have anything on the ban list. I'm like, I will say I enjoyed my time with Paradox Engine. All right, I will say that at least.
Remember, Ethan is the problem, guys.
I am the problem.
Look, I'll be honest. I miss playing with Paradox Engine so much, but it deserves it.
I'm not going to deny that fact.
That's why I was a Nadu abuser. I played Paradox Engine at home. It was great.
So, I'm not going to debate that it should still be around. I was looking at prices for Invention ones earlier today, though, because I still miss Paradox Engine that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's only $50. I can be persuaded to make stupid decisions in Vegas.
All right.
Back on topic, though.
On topic. We have the Mindskinner first because it's the first card in Jason's list, not the first in our normal order. But it's okay.
No, I'm still adding stuff. I'm adding it into the thing actively.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah,
we're getting this one
start
first.
wherever you want, though.
We're getting
That's
this
fine.
one first because it's here.
Yeah, that's
All
cool.
right, the Mindskinner. Blue, blue, blue for a 10-1 legendary enchantment creature Nightmare. The Mindskinner can't be blocked. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
It dies the
very
Bowman very easily.
It does do that too.
You caught me on my whole reason for banning the Bowman.
You like the Nightmare Crab.
I do
assume it's
like
a
the
crab.
Nightmare Crab. The Nightmare Crab is very cool.
Is that
Um,
can we say that's a crab?
I mean,
I mean, everything
if
eventually
Pokemon too
becomes
many-
a crab, so...
look. If Pokemon Too Many Types is going to consider Machamp to be a crab, this is a crab, alright?
Wait, hold up.
Yeah, that is real.
That's
That's
a discussion for after the stream because I'm now insanely curious and upset.
hmm
That
So-
looks less crab-like, but again, Machamp is a crab. So
This is true. Machamp is a crab.
How does one skin a mind? I don't know. We'll find out together.
Yeah.
also, Caden, come on, man, my wallet can only take so much.
Okay. So, let's get into the EDH rec on this one, because this is going to be an area of discussion for this guy. The key wording on this is if a source you control would deal damage to a player. You prevent that damage, and then each opponent mills that many cards.
Yep.
It has to be damage, not loss of life. Obviously, mill. We're playing mill.
We're playing Mill.
All right. We've played Mono Blue Mill before. We know that it has big problems. However, we are acknowledging that a single hit mills for 30 across 3 decks, but it mills for 30 without changing the power of the commander. Which, that is some of the best repeatable mill in the format. The next closest card that repeatedly mills that much is Court of Cunning, which requires you to have the Monarch to do that.
Yep.
And it's, again, only once per turn. This commander has the huge benefit, two very huge benefits, of, again, it's a cheap, repeatable way of doing this without any real downside aside from the 1 toughness. And then the other thing to it is modifying its power works, or working with any amount of power in your deck. So I wanted to bring up the EDH rec page for it because of things like Black Blade Reforged being something that you can do here. You can actually just load this thing up with equipment. But the other thing is, if you're just playing big blue creatures, this works.
Yeah, it just works.
So this is a way more flexible deck than you think it would be.
Now, that being said, people saw Mill, and of
And
course,
said, we
Mill.
went straight mill.
Yeah.
So, and I will also say, I'm not convinced that I know what the best build for this commander is. I did try to build this one for our set release. 1, it was hard to do, so I moved away from it, and 2, I needed to build a different deck, so had to abandon that. Would have played it if I didn't need to play something else. But I think the way I had this is a very interesting one, which was going just straight down the artifacts route. I did not care about these like singular self-mill pieces or things like that. I just went for artifact creatures. I want Constructs. I want the biggest, baddest Constructs I can find and make them get in for damage and mill for 10 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, Simulacrum Synthesizer kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said this was a Simulacrum Synthesizer deck.
Oh, I see this.
This was an Urza deck. So this was a Karn deck. This was I was doing a whole lot of different ways to try to get these big dumb Constructs into play, so I could do stuff. Also had Curie. That was her name. Which Curie is not great in this deck. Don't get me wrong. But if Mindskinner is not something that you get to do, your backup line of just using Curie to draw a bunch of cards was also quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's solid.
Yeah, Eldrazi Conscription is funny.
Eldrazi Conscription is hilarious.
Now, all that said, how good?
3-4.
Yeah.
I
You gotta
think
jump
you
through
can at
a
least
lot
get the
of
4.
hoops.
I do agree. There's quite a few hoops to jump through, but I do think you actually like win with this deck, not a surprising amount. And while milling your opponents can be a weakness to a benefit, like, this is getting too close to Phoenix levels of mill pretty quickly, and it might be very easy. But I do think I think I'm leaning like 4 or 5, so I will go for 4. Is that cool?
I'm leaning 4, so
We'll go to 4.
Okay. Then that is fine with me.
that's that. All right, next one. Bada bing, bada boom. The Wandering Rescuer. 3 white for a legendary creature, human, samurai noble. With flash, she has Convoke, Double Strike, and other tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Jason, why is this bad?
For your consideration, it comes into play, and then it doesn't do anything.
Where's our 1/0? Where's our 1/0 that does this pretty much similar thing? Yeah. Here. Let me just pull up the 0 we have on the Zur Scale here.
Oh, Masako the Humorless, I hate you so much.
Yeah. Now, isn't this a very similar card?
No, I would argue that the Wanderer is still significantly better than this,
Oh, yeah.
but at the same time.
Like,
Yeah, but this is
so
my argument to where I'm going to give it like a 1 or a 2.
I'd say like a 2.
I wouldn't go that low. I'd give it a 2. Maybe. Yeah, probably a 2, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2.
Man,
Yeah,
it's not good.
It's not great for being the commander for sure.
Yeah, I guess I should also mention, like, this is also something that has to do with Zur Scale rating, which is the assumption you were building around your commander. What are you doing with this commander, exactly?
Yep.
Just,
You're
you're flashing in your commander, maybe you're probably doing some token stuff, and you're giving them hexproof when they're tapped. You're probably trying to do tap and untap things with your stuff. Maybe you're playing like a soldier's deck that gets to play like Catapult Master or something like that.
Yep.
Limited Bomb, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
100%.
Fantastic card in Limited. Honestly, probably a pretty solid constructed card too. Maybe not amazing, but at least solid for sure. It's just not there for Commander.
We can build for other formats and like play for other formats, and that's just this card. That's like the Lutri argument. Lutri was not designed for Commander, and that's fine.
Yeah, this is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not designed for Commander 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right. Too bad we don't have the person who actively got to play this here, but me and Ethan did get to play against this.
Yes.
Ethan, how'd you feel about Toby?
I was surprised with how much the flying was relevant, but also to give full transparency, Adeline also just kills people, and he had Adeline on the field. So am I impressed by Adeline just putting a bunch of power on the board, or was I impressed by Toby giving things flying? I'm going to say probably the Adeline, but White has enough token support to where it's not unreasonable to say this is a fine commander. It's not going to... I don't know. It doesn't really do a whole lot. It makes a dude, and then if you play to the token strategy, it has a payoff. So it does a thing, and it's pretty attainable to do. So if you get your flying in, start chipping in damage, you feel satisfied with your game plan.
Yeah, it's fine. The things that you can do, it's good with like tokens plus flicker. Like if you wanted to build a Splicer's deck, for example, like specifically Blade Splicer, I should say, that type of deck, Death and Taxes sort of thing, this is a pretty good example for it. You just need to be making a lot of tokens, and fortunately we've gotten a ton of card draw, a ton of support recently for mono white tokens in particular. So you can play a long game, but the issue is with these types of decks, playing a long game usually doesn't favor you because that green deck's just going to go over top of you, that blue deck's just going to go over top of you. So you're in that awkward spot of it's fine, but not great. 3-4 territory for me.
The red X deck probably outgrinds you. Like,
Would I play this over Adeline? Would I play this over Benny Brack's Zoologist? No. Then it's probably like a meh 3. 4 max, but I'm going to say probably a 3.
It's 3-4 territory for me. I think 3's fine.
Do we have...
It's not the most exciting thing out there.
It does its thing. I think as a card in the 99 of a token strategy, giving that flying is a finisher. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like, just a way to give evasion.
And I will give it some credit for being able, again, having the flexibility to be able to do some things with Flicker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that strong.
All right. All right, I'm going to need somebody else to read this off while I get everything pulled up here.
Ooh,
Valgavoth. No, Jason, you got it then.
Yeah. All right, so this is Valgavoth Terror Eater. This is a 9 mana, 9/9 legendary creature, Elder Demon, with flying, lifelink, ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control was put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead, and during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost.
I
Big,
love this card.
dumb demon.
Jason, you talked about Kalia earlier.
Well, I know what's
Oh,
replacing
boy.
Dockside and Kalia.
Hey, that's pretty
Honestly.
good. I did actually have like 3 cards I was debating what I needed to put into that deck recently, so hey.
He has some open spots. Valgavoth hates that Jewel Lotus is banned.
True.
True.
Yeah.
Which may be a precursor to where this conversation is going to go. Cool, big dumb demon, not a great commander.
No, it's a really bad commander.
It really
It's
hard
just
to get
too
these sorts of decks to
high-costed.
play.
Black does have ways to ramp it out though, with a few rituals, and then like you have the Cabal Coffer stuff.
Mhm.
But really, is that can be consistent enough to get it down to where your primary game plan can be this commander, and it does the thing consistently.
So if you want context, chat, we have Villas at a 5, which is an 8-drop, that does significantly more than this will do the turn it comes down, and probably throughout most of the game. And we have that at a 5, because it's a bit too high of a cost already. This is 1 extra mana, which is a big deal.
And I would honestly argue that this effect is a little bit weaker than Villas's.
Villas just draws you so many cards.
Yeah.
It guarantees putting you ahead on resources, whereas Valgavoth does not. Valgavoth can well, I should say, Villas also does not guarantee you ahead on resources. If your deck is very well built, it will. But even a well-built Valgavoth deck is not going to guarantee have the removal spell to immediately get value, right? This is a deck that I would want to play a card like Snuff Out in.
Mhm.
Like, that's pretty cool to just be able to go Valgavoth, Snuff Out, take that card, immediately cast it.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I guess you can do Mono Black Mill.
Yeah.
Like if you're
You
trying
and-
to stretch it. Like you can get things, I guess, like Trepanation Blade. You got Syndicate and Informer. What's the one why am I blanking on deck names? The one where you play no lands, and you just dread return back things with the Narcomoebas, like in Legacy. What's that called again?
Oh, like 4 Horsemen?
I guess four Horsemen.
But like,
Charbelcher decks. I guess also play no lands, but like.
yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm blanking on it. I haven't played Legacy in a few years, sadly.
Yeah.
But now
I don't ultimately see where this works. You may be thinking like Helm of Obedience combos, but Helm of Obedience combos require them to get exiled. But to be fair, this does. So, you know, you can. Yeah, okay. I guess that is a fair point that this is a Helm of Obedience outlet.
Mhm.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Eh.
That's
Still
not the
3.
right sound.
Felder Griff
Three,
says,
right?
yeah, but it has ward. Okay.
the war
and-
doesn't fix all the problems.
Yeah, the word helps. Although it is also worth noting.
We do have a
Your
2-mana
opponent's-
enchantment that now shuts down ward, guys.
It's also true. Not that I expect that to see much play, but that is relevant.
So this 3, right? Can we just say 3 because it's too high mana
3.
value?
Yeah, that's probably about right. Like, just it's too hard to get Valgavoth out.
Yeah.
All right, we got the myth, the legend themselves.
Okay.
Norn Swift Survivalist up next. Norin Swift Survivalist costs 1 whole red pip, just 1,
Woo!
for a 2/1 that can't block. And then they have the text of whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. You may play that card from exile this turn.
Okay.
Old Norin was better.
Old Norin is much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I will say this card is worse because there are cards that care about Coward as a creature type, and this is a Coward.
All right, so since Old Norin is better, does that mean we get to give this one a 1?
I'm cool with that. I don't see...
Or do we give this one a 0, Jason?
Yeah,
Because...
Okay. Okay, whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. If you do, play that card, exile this turn. So, Norin gets around commander attacks if it's blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And it can trigger some ETB stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Original Norin makes you go through a bunch of hoops, but at least it does something semi-respectable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a 1.
Wait, Old Norin's a 1?
Yep.
Old Norin is a 1.
Old Norin's a 1.
It's a 1/2.
Hence why I asked, do we give this one a 1 or a 0? Because this is strictly worse than the old one.
This is old.
I would maybe go as far to say as Norin the Wary is a 2 and this is a 2 or a 1 alongside it, because this is rough. Like, there has to be something with wanting your creatures to get blocked so you can replay them for flicker effects or something. Like, this is the closest thing you get to flicker, and boy, does that feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a 1 toughness. Like, this dies to, like, a Swift Breeze.
Yeah.
Well, it won't die to anything. You'll just exile it and cast it for 1.
What are you talking about, Jason? My bowman shoots it, it dies then.
Oh man!
Shut up.
Your gears.
My
your
toxic deluge kills it for 1 whole life. Like
Fire Covenant for 1 life. Come on, dude.
It dies exceedingly easily. Can we check the EDH rec very quickly? Because I do want to check something. Because similarly, the other Norin has the benefit of triggering all of these. Yeah, when something enters the battlefield, you do it once, sort of things.
I guess it's cute with like a gate instigator.
Right, which is also another thing. Like, we haven't reevaluated Norin in quite some time, so
Invasion plan.
Original Norin, I should specify. Yeah, this is giving us some stuff. Oh, it does trigger the cast from exile stuff. That's actually kind of relevant.
But
it feels not great.
I was going to say, it feels so bad, though. Like, because you have to rely on your opponent playing bad into your deck. Because you're smacking them with a 2-power creature. 2 life is nothing in this format.
Yeah, well, again, depends a bit on your deck construction, because if you look there at Enduring Courage, for example, red is the color that does get to up the power of its creatures for when it swings and doing sorts of things for that ETB, but it is still not great.
Also, I like to say you don't even get trample damage in because it's on block, not after combat. So, like, trample with his commander sucks.
Grape Shot kills it.
Grape Shot does kill it.
Grape Shot kills it. Gunshot kills it.
Not to rub salt in the wounds, it also did just lose Dockside Extortionist.
That is true.
The most relevant card for this deck just got banned. Yep.
Like, if you're trying to do mono red ETB stuff, there's just like 7 other commanders I can think that are better and that do things that are more interesting than.
Well, it is also a one drop red commander that sticks around, so to speak. Norin does not stick around on your turn. There's plenty of ways to counteract Norin and have him exile, or other old Norin, I should say, exiles at inconvenient times. Whereas this Norin exiles when you want it to. You're never swinging with it unless you want it to exile. And it gives the effect to other things without having to leave. That said, it dies. It sits around and it dies.
I want to move on. I don't. This is not giving me the happy feel goods.
It is a debate between 1s and 2s, so we can go with 1s if we'd like.
It is dog water. We
water.
haven't had a dog water card in a while, Jason.
Fair. All right, fair enough. It was a debate of 1s and 2s.
All right, we don't have that much better of a card next. Don't worry. It only gets just as meh from here.
General consensus already is that kind of.
Here is the Thrice-Called.
Okay.
It's 7 mana for a 9/9 with trample. And whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you draw a card.
Nadu.
You have the nice, beautiful flavor text of discarding it to return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It's just flavor text. It's never going to happen in Commander. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
It's not reasonable to... okay. Sanctum of Eternity does exist.
Mhm.
If you need a late card that bad,
Okay.
2. I'm gonna say this is a 2. It's at least 9/9 for 7 above stats with trample and can draw you cards. But
it's hard to build around it aside from it just being a 9/9 with trample.
yeah, that just
We can't consistently guarantee the opponent will cast a spell into it. It sits somewhere in that 1 to 2 range for me.
I'm gonna say 2. It's not dog water, but it ain't great.
I will say
beacon?
this.
You can command beacon it and then put it back in the command zone and still cast it for 9, I guess, if you'd like.
Yeah, if you wanted to, sure.
You have to sacrifice your land to get a land into play from your graveyard to the battlefield tab. Oh boy, I get to keep doing this over and over.
For 2 mana more each time.
Just, I don't know. You legit can just recycle command beacon over and over. Is that a relevant enough niche?
No.
Like, there's no way that's relevant enough.
No.
This is a 2.
We're only giving it
legal in
the
more
2
formats,
because
but,
mono green is better than mono red.
This is very true.
If you had red, this would absolutely be a 1. It wouldn't even be close.
Sammy, I think just the fact that it can draw you cards makes it not a 1.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that it might draw you a card and replace itself in a way makes it not a 1.
I mean, if you double its power, it probably needs to get killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, not for trample. That does just eventually kill people.
Alright,
yeah,
chat.
and let me double check something. It's only when it gets targeted as well. That's the problem. If it had any of your stuff, it would be much better.
If it had an audio text, it would actually be like 3 or 4. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
1, we say like actively hurts. 2 is just bad, right? Or 0 actively hurts us.
0 is actively hurting you.
Yes.
Okay.
1 is incredibly bad.
Yeah,
I would
requires a
honestly
lot
argue
of effort for minimal benefit. Tries to do something with minimal color support for your colors. That is an argument why Norin would be a 1.
No.
It just doesn't have much support aside from, the Perforoses of the world.
Yeah.
So anyways, banger alert.
Okay, yeah.
Oh god, Kona.
Alright,
This card's good.
Ethan,
Can I read it?
Ethan, read it.
Kona, Rescue Beastie is a 4-drop, 3 and a green for a legendary creature, Beast Survivor, with the ability Survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Kona Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. It is a 4/3 with a Heart of Gold, and Nose for Danger, and Jaws that can pulverize a Stellar Spawn with a single snap.
Thank you, Ethan.
This card's pretty good.
This card's very good.
It's cute.
Yeah, this card's
Guess
cool.
some of your faces, but it's cute.
I guess we should go into some details on it. Okay, so let me do something real quick because I want to compare this to Galta, which is weird to make that comparison as like the 1-for-1. But hear me out on this. All right, Galta Stampede Tyrant, a card in this deck, is just 8 mana, 12/12. Put all your creatures into play, right?
Yep.
Obviously, when you're playing Big Green Stompy, you're drawing cards, you're putting stuff into play. Like, you're going to have creatures to put into play with Galta. It's pretty solid. We gave this a 4. And it's, honestly, yeah, as the commander, it is a 4. It's a better 99 card. But it is not really the thing you want at the helm of your deck, even in green, where you can get copious amounts of mana.
Alright, Jason, what if I knock it down to 4 mana? I make it piss easy to do this on turn 3 in my colors, and then I also get to slam a portal to Phyrexia on somebody on turn 3.
Yeah, that's the thing we're going to talk about. It's not just creatures.
It's everything.
Slamming a Void when we're on turn 3, guys. 3. That's a very consistent number for this deck. It's either 3 or 4, and at any point on those turns, yeah, most of these big dumb things are backbreaking. Like, actually just backbreaking.
Yeah. Kona's ability to just quite frankly, Show and Tell is a good card. Like, at least in a Legacy Standard in a 1v1 setting, right? Being able to just put something into play for 3 mana is a solid enough card that you will play it. Flash is banned for a reason. This is doing that in the color that cares the most about the big dumb creatures. And the big one-shot effects. Sure, you only get 1 per turn, but it's not like you didn't... it's not like you lost your mana and your ability to cast cards. It's very linear. It's actually relatively easy to counter, but it's not the easiest to counter.
If
your
you want to
deck-
double up on it, Stronic Resonator is also something people can play in this deck. I'm not sure if it's even necessary.
I don't think it is.
I don't. Just to double check on one thing with Kona. Kona does not specify this ability triggers once per turn, right? It just says at the beginning of your second main phase.
Yep.
So you can't have a second main phase more than once a turn, just how math works, generally speaking.
I wouldn't have thought
Good
the
old new
Elvish
wording.
Piper in the command zone is so hyped. Well, yeah. That's because we
It's
haven't
the
had
command
an
zone.
Elvish Piper in the command zone.
And
I mean, the
also,
closest thing we've had for that is like that new Eldamri, I think is the closest thing we've had to that, right?
Yeah.
And that still requires tapping it, another creature, and paying a mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
it's on this EDH rec page I saw, so like, just keep scrolling down a little bit. I think I saw it.
Yeah. You have to
Yep.
tap it and a
Two.
green mana and 2 other creatures.
So it takes 3 creatures to do this, and you can only do this once per turn as well. The only thing that's the big benefit from it is both being able to cast cards from the top of your deck and, just being able to know what's on top of your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Which we gave this Eldamri a 7.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a little high now.
That's a little
Yeah.
high now. After
I still think it's 5 or 6.
I think we were specking on it.
Yeah,
like-
I think so. It is also just play elves, which was kind of like the baseline of you're playing elves.
It's at least
Worst
like
case-
a 5 baseline.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you're playing elves. I think 6 is probably a fair spot for it.
Yeah.
I would say Kona's better.
I'd say Kona's probably 7.
I would say Kona's starting out at a 7.
Yeah, I think that's a fair spot for it. Honestly, like Kona
That's
is
a very
very good.
conservative spot. I could see it being a 8 potentially, because it just does put any permanent in, right? It's permanent, not non-land permanent. It just says permanent.
After the things I experienced,
like,
I would
baseline,
happen
you
to
can ramp,
agree.
right?
I lived the Kona dream, as people will see next week.
Spoilers. Yeah,
It was a nightmare actually for me.
So baseline, you ramp at least. Like
Yeah.
baseline, you can do the green thing of just put extra lands into play.
Yeah, baseline it puts a land into play, which is already good.
The issue, the issue with this
feeling.
card is it runs out of it does potentially run out of cards.
Playing
But at the
green, you
same
draw
time-
like 27 cards from just breathing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have bad luck.
It can, Ethan. Look,
My experience is I have to do all this work to draw like 5 cards in an Izzet deck, where it's like add to the card advantage, and then green says, "Cool, I play 3 creatures, I draw 20 cards, and I play a creature."
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just like PTSD from it or something, but like,
look, Ethan. I just need to play Jund against you, and I don't draw a whole bunch of cards in that deck because I'm trying to play fair mid-rangey stuff.
From the graveyard.
Robbo, I see you. All right, I will
I
come
don't
find you in whatever Aussie place you're at.
That's it, player.
So, anyways, 7 across the board for everybody. Good.
Yeah. I think it's very conservative. I can see it going higher depending on.
I can see it being higher, but just
I think 7's the right spot for it.
we've had a whole whopping weekend with these. So,
Unga bunga for the win, indeed, Robbo.
all right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Unga Bunga for the win, oh boy,
Unga
we got
bunga.
Tyar the Pummeler, 1 double green for a 3/3 elf. Tap another untapped creature you control. He gets indestructible until end of turn, and you tap him. You can pay 3 green. Creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Jason, where do we have Azuri at?
I was going to say, is this just better Azuri?
I would argue it's not. It may just be better than Azuri.
I think it's just better Azuri.
I don't think the regenerate target elf is really relevant at
Well,
this.
It saves other things. So, like, when a board wipe happens, Tyvar can only save itself.
Yes. How many elves are you want to stick around though?
I
You're in
just
green.
want my
When you're
Elvish-
playing elves, you want all of them.
You want all of them. Yeah.
You want critical mass.
I think just maybe
but I don't
make sure you have
think
enough ways to get things back, like having enough of creeping renaissance and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Effects to refill your hand with what's died is probably just
Okay.
more.
But you don't even have to play elves, is the thing.
Mhm.
In fact,
True.
this actively encourages you to not play them a whole bunch because you want big power things.
It's elves plus other.
Yeah.
It still wants to be an elf deck. Because it still just wants to make copious amounts of mana to just throw into the big swing.
Azuri gives trample, not sure how much that impacts it.
That actually is pretty relevant.
It actually
That's
helps a
extremely
lot.
relevant, yes.
Yeah, I forgot that he gets trample.
Yeah. I don't think this is strictly better. Oh, obviously it's not strictly better by any definition of what you would use for strictly better, but it's definitely at least on par.
Yeah,
At minimum, it's on par, if not a little better.
It's a side grade. Or
Yeah.
slightly worse, because no trample. Trample is actually pretty relevant.
So,
The
Then-
scaling of power, though, is actually pretty relevant, though.
yes, because the second activation gets much larger. Like, even with Tyvar's the only thing in play, and assuming that you're able to, no modifications to Tyvar's power, you are now giving +9/+9 to your team on the second activation. Or, well, your total team is getting +9/+9 as a result of the second activation. The third activation would then give an additional +12/+12.
Yep.
So,
I think just the ability there to scale power and just kind of get punched in a lot easier
Mhm.
does help. While you might not have
Yeah.
trample, just being able to get taller easier might mitigate that.
You also got to
necessity.
remember that, like,
Huh.
it not being there are plenty of things in green that have big power and trample, and getting to
Mhm.
double that is absurd.
Mhm.
yeah,
So-
they already have it.
I mean, we already see Zapandrel doing insane stuff. Pretty relevant card.
Yeah.
It at least beats my face quite a bit. At Phil Gallagher.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Fear God at me on that one.
Okay, so I'll be honest, like, my initial impression of Tyvar was quite low, but now thinking through it and just seeing what you're doing with it, yes, I agree, it's much better than I initially thought. That said, it's a side grade for Azuri, right?
hmm
What is this rating then?
It's either an 8 or a 9. It kind of has to be.
In the casual sphere, 8 or 9?
Yeah.
Have the Zur Scale open on a different tab.
I-
Just
I mean, I
I
have it
know-
up to look
I
at
know
it, but
what
I want
it
your,
is.
I want
I
your
know what
opinion
it
on it
is.
without looking at it.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, 8's probably the top end where I would say I feel
Mhm.
comfortable with it. I feel like it's on par with Kona, but they do very different things. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say
I think it's better than Kona.
I think it's better than Kona.
I think
Okay.
Kona's really good, but I think this just linearly, synergistically just does its thing, right?
No trample
Um,
7 tops. That is factually... That is just kind of wrong thinking on this.
You're also in green. You can give trample with like sneezing.
Yeah.
There are a few good ways of giving trample, and I think was it Garrick's Uprising gives it, so that's already a
Mhm.
decent spot to start with. The only thing that I dislike about Tyvar is I think it ends up baiting you into doing some things that you shouldn't be doing. I think people say like, see, oh, I can just play like generic Big Stompy with this. I really think if the best build of this is Elves. Like, it's Elves plus Craterhoof plus some other big things that you were wanting to play anyway. Now you can actually play like Zapandrel in the deck, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the man generation you get from getting like Circle of Dreams Druid, Priest of Titania, stuff like
Elvish
that.
Archdruid. Yeah.
Elvish Archdruid. Like, you just get to make so much mana and have an outlet for it that can protect itself without a mana investment.
Okay.
I think that's really relevant, where you can be a lot more aggressive with your mana while also protecting it.
Yes. Okay. Now, here's here. Can we generally agree 8 is correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Azuri is currently a 9, so we bring Azuri down?
No. I'm going to say, well, yes, you get to play additional cards you probably want to play.
Mhm.
Strictly Elves, just in general, is going to be a lot faster than what this deck will produce. Because as soon as you start mixing stuff into the Elf Ball starts getting worse.
This is
Yes.
true.
So
But all you need is just, you just need your Nyx Bloom engine piece, so to speak. And now
Sure,
Nyx Bloom is
but
actually a
that's-
lot better here than it would be in Azuri, where they're both great.
they're both great. But also, well, yes, we're trying to say there is trample on Azuri, there's not trample on Tyvar. That is enough of a relevancy, because even though, yes, green, you can sneeze and give trample, sometimes you might not.
I mean, that's one of my opinions on red with haste as well. Like, red has a million ways to give haste, but you don't always have it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm cool calling it 8 and moving on.
For this, I absolutely believe it's correct to give it an 8. For Azuri, I think we probably should knock it down to an 8 as well.
I'll give you that too.
And I'll be honest, I will just copy their rating 1 for 1, but give Tyvar 1 more point in flexibility.
That works.
And like they will be 8 10s. That's what I would say.
I'll give you
like
that.
you can absolutely build these decks as 10s.
Oh boy, we get to talk about the weirdest commander in the set, don't we?
The weirdest one. Is it the rooms one?
No.
What's weirder? Just not the
Okay.
balloons. That's pretty
Oh,
straightforward.
we're talking about
Our
Nico
nice
time?
Azorius commander.
Oh, that one.
it's Nico time. Let's go, baby.
Nico, you want to go bowling?
That is
Nice
not the
reference.
one. Nico
Nice
is thinking of,
reference.
but
I
nice.
like it.
Very, very good. All right, so we have Nico, Light of Hope, 2 a blue and a white for a 3/4 legendary creature, human wizard. When Nico enters the battlefield, create 2 shards. Shards are enchantments. They're basically clues, but you get to scry, and they are important again. Enchantments. Pay
That's
2,
weird.
tap, exile a target non-legendary creature you control. Shards you control become copies of it until that creature until the beginning of the next end step. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
It's cool.
Flicker! Everybody loves Flicker, right?
Yeah.
It's weird though. In a way,
I
I love this
respect it.
commander, by the way, but it's weird because most creatures that you flicker don't have passive effects that you want to like double up on necessarily, and they're usually not the best at swinging. But also just 2 mana tap flicker something is actually a pretty good rate. Do we need to pull up Rune?
Yeah,
That is true.
Yeah, this is just
Rune
one color
is
remove
green,
Rune.
though. Rune lets you play more creatures in a turn.
I mean,
you don't.
Yeah,
Rune
but
also gets
Rune doesn't get Enchantress synergies out of nowhere.
also true.
This does allow you to take advantage of like the new Eerie cards quite a bit because it is 2 enchantments coming in.
And Constellation, and the fact that this is just a better clue token.
And Nico themselves is a card you would actually be interested in flickering.
Yeah.
So you still play all the flicker cards in the deck. So you'll at least be functioning even without Nico in play. But Nico is also doing something pretty strong overall.
Mhm.
I'm really not sure where I put this though.
My guts tell me this is at least a 5 or a 6. I don't think you're. I think it's about average at least. You get to do some cool stuff. The mana and tap investment does slow it down quite a bit, but
Yes.
4 mana comes down. Let's say you turn 3, get it down because you play like a Azorius Signet turn 2. Turn 4, you play a 3-drop and then flicker it, and get to do some attack in. Not the worst ever.
Yep. It's weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
It is one of those cards that's weird. You know what's also going to be a weird thing about this commander that I'm not going to like? You need to keep track of which ones of my shards have been in play so that I know which ones have haste for using activated abilities in case they come up.
Yeah.
Or attacking in case it comes up.
Yeah.
I still
Weird
think
things.
I still think benefit of the doubt above average because the Flicker package can just be that good.
Yeah, I play against Afara enough. Flicker just does things.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm cool with putting Nico at a 6. I just like that card anyway, so.
I'm interested to see how it gets brewed, so I might look at some lists later, but we'll see.
It's definitely one of those ones that's going to take some time to figure out. Because there's going to be a lot of different ways to build it, and just generically Flicker is fine. Like, it's a perfectly fine way to build a deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1,000-Year Elixir. Yeah, like, doing a Flicker build that would be centered around activated abilities, that's a weird deck, but that would actually work here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, time for Jason's favorite little rat.
It's Nashy time! Alright, Nashy, Searcher in the Dark. Blue and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature, rat ninja wizard. Nice. Menace. Whenever Nashy deals combat damage to a player, you mill that many cards. You may put any number of legendary and or enchantment cards from among them into your hand. If you put no cards into your hand this way, put a 1/1 counter onto Nashy. This is a blue-black tempo Legendaries Matters commander with enchantment stuff. Sick. Love it.
It gets thumbs ups for me.
It's cool.
Yeah, good. I don't know how good this is.
Yeah. I like what it's trying to do.
It does not look much like a ninja nor a wizard.
This is correct, Kelvin. Thank you. It's honestly just an artificer. But
first look, I'm feeling a 4. Is that? I don't think
close
it's
to where
5.
4-5 range is where I was kind of thinking.
I was thinking
because like
on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I'm trying to think of other okay, so are there other blue-black commanders that help with, or blue-black legendary things that help with getting through combat better? In blue-black, doubling your power is not really a great option. You could do Hatred, which is funny, but...
Hatred's hilarious, but...
The one elemental thing that when it goes to your graveyard gets Swamp Walk.
Filth.
Okay. Yeah, you do get Filth,
and Wonder. Wonder, you also
Yeah.
get Flying. Flying Minache is generally, a lot of
Pretty
cases,
good.
unblockable.
Yep.
I mean, you get... like Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro. Actually, no, that's the one I'm thinking of. You get Swordcross Sailor, so you can like get in some extra damage in that way. That goes unblockable for sure.
Yep.
You get actual factual card advantage and pseudo card advantage out of this with just putting things into your graveyard that you might want to use later.
Also, like curiosity effects are good because you're going to be getting damage in, so and you can get those back from your graveyard. So curiosity, what's the one that was in Ixalan Standard that if you don't deal damage, you sacrifice, or don't attack, you sacrifice? Search or Curious Obsession.
Oh, yeah, playing like Curious Obsession effects.
Yeah. So just deal damage,
Okay.
draw a card, and they're enchantments that you can play for pretty cheap. So playing that tempo game plan to consistently keep your hand full, kind of playing that Delver-ish strategy.
Didn't they also give us? Didn't they make one that makes maps as well?
Yes.
Probably.
There's one
That's
in
actually- That's kind of relevant, actually.
Just any like Slitherblade effect, Mercurial Spell Dancer. You're not relying on your commander necessarily if you just have those aggressive creatures while playing that tempo game plan behind it.
Honestly, I think this is a benefit of the doubt 5 for me.
Okay.
I can definitely see that for sure.
Like, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, how many things we want. Like, obviously, we can just do Reanimator stuff. Like, it could be.
Yeah.
One of the funny things I'm thinking about here as well is, like, hey, I milled over this Jink and Taxes. You know what? I don't want to bring that to my hand right now because I'm going to reanimate it this turn. So I'll just choose to get the 1/1 counter on Nashy instead. And start getting into more stuff.
And also,
Obviously,
it's a 2-drop, guys. It's
2-drop counters are
gonna
fantastic.
hit. It's gonna hit.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I'm not really selling the merit on that enough as well. Like, 2-drop commanders that actually do something tend to overperform. So,
Well, Spain's thinking of Aqueous Form. Unblockable is Scry 1. Help to kind of set the top of your deck to see.
Yeah.
the only negative, there's a couple of negatives with playing tempo in Commander. You don't put stuff into play that keeps you safe very much, and you're very stack oriented. So,
This is
like,
true.
also, did Ethan just like die?
I think Ethan is dead.
Long live Ethan.
R.I.P.
We'll probably get back to that soon.
Don't
But-
worry. If you see an icon or like our cameras get distorted, blame Ethan.
Absolutely. He just said his internet died.
Oh, lovely. That checks out. He'll disappear here in a second.
He can chill for a minute. You just get to look at his lovely face for a
Yeah,
while.
you do.
So, yeah, I think I've convinced myself on the 5.
I think I can give it a 5.
I think there's stuff there that I haven't seen quite yet. And I want to see more. I just don't like that you're going to lose like a bunch of stack interaction, which is something you want in these types of decks, and you're just going to build that over and not guarantee it. But like, that's not the worst.
Yeah, it's not bad. Anyways, hello, the Lord of Pain. TVs. Don't you just love them in our glorious game of Magic the Gathering? 3 red-black for a legendary creature human assassin, 5/5 with menace, has the very important text of your opponents can't gain life. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to chosen player. Oh yeah, remember guys what I said about cameras being fucked up. I can fix them later.
In due time. I hate that art so much, but that card is good. So in our video this week, I was the one who was playing Valgavoth, and the Lord of Pain came up. Lord of Pain honestly felt like it did almost as much work as Valgavoth did. And I definitely did see the downsides in it. Like, you know, I had to pay life to a Meat Hook Massacre just to make sure that Lord of Pain was not put into play on my opponent's control.
I think you should have let it happen. That would be funny.
I would have absolutely died to my own Lord of Pain. So, how is this a human? You know, we don't question things like that here.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly. I did read the tiny bit of lore on the Lord of Pain. Like, he's a cultist. He wants to inflict as much pain as possible. And he found that being in TVs let him experience pain like nobody else experiencing their pain and such, so he just jumped in the TVs and stayed there. So I think he's technically a human still on the inside of that, but he abandoned his corporeal form. So really he should just be like a spirit. But here we are. Hello.
Oh.
I see a chair.
Is he back? Is the gamer back?
How much you want to bet that he left his thing and it just auto-connected him to Discord?
I bet you that's exactly what happened.
All right, we'll get something from him in a minute.
He's probably too busy playing with his little adorable cat.
Yeah, I'll at least give him a heads up that his camera's on.
Yep. So anyways, this card's sweet. I'm about to go down my Logan arc, Jason.
Oh no. That means pain for everyone.
That means pain and suffering for everybody. It's gonna be glorious.
Also, despite being a 5-drop commander, this is honestly a pretty solid one. You just need to invest more heavily in your ramp.
Yeah.
It's 5/6 territory for me.
I think it's a 6.
Yeah.
It does a lot.
It does a lot. It also annoys people, which it has like the huge weakness of any group slug deck, which is you annoy people enough that they're going to attack you regardless of the situation. Which always is like knocks a point off for me, but
however,
even with that, it probably stays.
The next group slug commander is just amazing and has the best art in the set, and it's just the best commander in the set. I'm just calling it, just saying it.
It's certainly
not in terms of power level, just strictly the coolest, best commander in the set. It's Valgavoth.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites here. So, Valgavoth, Horror of Souls, 2 in a Rakdos for 4/4, legendary creature Elder Demon with flying, ward, pay 2 life, and whenever an opponent loses life for the first time on each of their turns, you put a 1/1 counter onto Valgavoth and draw a card. So, this is Budget Obnixilis. Hi, we see you.
He's back.
He did it. Make sure your pants are on.
I reset the router and it started working.
Hey,
sorry, modem. I should know what I'm talking about occasionally.
Yeah, come on, Mr. IT guy.
Hey, I am a SQL developer now. Okay, put some respect on my name.
All right, we did Lord of Pain. Put him at a 6. Valgavoth here.
Yeah. Let me get back to the things and stuff.
stuff and things.
Sorry, Lord of Pain. That was fun. The steal yours and kill you with it. Anyway, Valgavoth. Have you all said what it does yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have read up what it does. We're getting to it. So this is budget Obnixilis. We can be upfront about that.
Budget Obnixilis?
It is absolutely budget Obnixilis.
Yeah. You're playing the same exact cards that you would play in Obnixilis, except you lose out on the stuff that deals damage on your turn.
So I would argue it's not the same cards.
It's not, because Obnixilis cares about one damage in particular versus any damage. I think this is more better Mogus, God of Slaughter.
Specifically Logan's Mogus.
Yes,
Not
if
the
you
average
long-timers the channel know our experience with Mogus, God of Slaughter. The fact that you get to have card draw based off of that and a beater in the air is not really relevant. You're playing cards like Mogus, God of Slaughter in the deck, though, in order to actually trigger it. Which I think is better. I think being able to draw into those cards is better than having the I don't know the right word to put this. The things that start the engine versus the actual engine itself.
Yeah. I will say that similar to Obnixilis, but a little bit less so. Valgavoth does want you to have your engine piece in play before you play it. I am going to speak from the experience of playing Obnixilis because this is that's one of my CDH decks. So, Obnixilis just goes crazy, gets stupid. It's really easy to do stuff with it. Also, we might have undervalued Obnixilis because we have that as a 9. It probably should be a 10.
Yeah.
Valgavoth is very, very good, but it's nuanced. It's slower gameplay.
Which is not necessarily worse or bad.
I would say, from a gameplay experience, I think Valgavoth is the more fun deck for casual.
Yes.
For a power level based experience, Obnixilis is the way to go.
For sure.
That said, Valgavoth's sick. I love it. It's at least a 7 for me.
I was going to say, I think it's like an 8.
I was going to say 7 or 8.
This thing gets so big so fast.
It draws you cards.
It draws you cards.
It does. It's the commander that says, I play it, it starts doing the thing. It requires a little bit of setup, but playing a permanent, like Sulfuric Vortex or Mogus God of Slaughter that just does it for you, not a hard ask.
Well, again, do keep one thing in mind. Nuance on the gameplay there. It wants you to put those things down before Valgavoth comes out.
Yes.
Which, again, compared to Obnixilis can just come down. It does not need to be drawing cards right away.
Yep.
Because Obnixilis can start drawing those cards on the next turn, because it may be that you just draw 10 cards in a single turn.
Argument, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Commander players are greedy with their life. This actually doesn't need an engine. Already down. The amount of shocks fetches in this format. The amount of random pain lands in this format, too.
I don't fully agree with that. Like, it's one of those matters of... So, people do get greedy, but they also just get annoyed at you. They get annoyed at all your Punisher pieces, and they're going to sit there and go, like, maybe I'll play into it, but then I'm just going to kill your thing because it's annoying me. Or...
Yeah,
I'm going...
That's what I'm saying, is it doesn't need the engine to already be there. It, in itself, can kind of just exist while you're still setting stuff up. And still probably going to get bigger. It's still probably going to draw you cards.
Again, yes and no. In some ways, yes, but I feel like mostly no.
I mean...
Because, like, your max cap here is 3 cards per turn plus 3 counters, right? And missing those marks can be a huge problem for you, especially because, again, this card has a target on its back. Because it is so powerful. So worth noting. But, I don't think I would ever really want to run out Valgavoth without an engine piece in play already. Which is why I loaded up on so many of them in the deck.
Like I said, I've seen enough. Just personally, I've seen enough. Random pain lands, random sources. Like, it probably will be at least a 6/6 flyer and drawing you 2 cards by the time just being solo out there on turn 4.
Sammy, in regards to removing the engine pieces, yes and no. A lot of your pieces are enchantments, which are, it's like the hardest permanent type to remove. So, they don't get rid of it too frequently, from what I've seen. But they do get rid of the creatures. The creatures do go quickly. Your bowmasters, your cataract parasites, your why am I blanking on the name of that razorkin?
Razorkin Needlehead.
Yeah, Needlehead.
A new one.
They will remove those things as soon as they can because they're just tired. They don't like that you're taking things from them, which is again always the issue with Punisher decks. But it's like you can probably ignore a good amount of it anyway. I still think it's a 7.
I'll say it's a 7. I do appreciate how the new Rakdos Precon does pressure life totals to where games don't end up being a 2-hour slogfest. When we played Valgavoth and Lord Payne was on the field, that game was about an hour, I think, like just playing straight through. And it never felt like it was too fast or too slow. It just kind of felt like the game was progressing, life totals were going down. It felt good to have a game that felt it was going along at a reasonable pace.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Always one of the things to appreciate about Punisher decks in general is just that part of it. Unless they're the ones that are like the heavy choice oriented ones.
You're talking like a Davros.
Painful Quandary.deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's talking about the Logan special.
Love Logan. Love Logan. That deck though, I played against it enough to last a lifetime.
Also, while we're here, Obnixilis 10.
Obnixilis 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cool with calling that a 10.
Okay.
That guy is just nuts.
Yeah, I think we were probably a little too
Conservative.
a little too conservative on it. Yeah, we put it as a I think it was low flexibility. We had it as support as a 10, the power level of itself as a 10, but we put it as a 9, and I think it was largely due to like the politics and things like that I'm mentioning here.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fair point.
Obviously doesn't care about the politics though. It just kind of says, I'm gonna draw a lot of cards.
I'm gonna draw, and I'm gonna get stupidly large very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the early builds of it were very, very focused on like being just mana barb stacks. And to be fair, it's still 50% of the decks, but they've gotten a lot better at like leaning more into their Stormy style stuff, and also they've gotten like Unstable Amulet recently, which is just insane in that deck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jason, I'm gonna let you talk about this one since you attempted it.
Hot rip.
Yeah.
All right, Rip
exactly.
Spawn Hunter. 2 green and a white for a 4/4 legendary creature human survivor. With survival at the beginning of your second main phase, if Rip is tapped, reveal the top X cards of your library where X is its power. Put any number of creatures and or vehicles with different powers from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I could not figure this card out. So
advantage.
It's the card advantage, I guess.
okay, so genuinely there are real strengths to this commander. The card advantage is absolutely real. The getting vehicles component of it is also real, as much as I hate it.
There are ways
For
to
those of
tap
you who
Rip
don't know-
without going to combat.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, vehicles are either my first or second least favorite mechanic in the entire game.
Really?
So, yeah.
What
Mutate
rival-
and vehicles are
okay.
they go back and forth.
I get it.
So, I don't like that vehicles are a major component of this deck. However, it is actually real and something that you should consider. Although you would want to be very careful about the vehicles you select because, like, Unlicensed Hearse needs to exile something before it crews.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. Where's Anti on that list? Not a mechanic that anyone gets to play with, so nowhere on it. Otherwise, it would be up there. It would probably be number 1.
It would be number 1.
Jason, I think Kelvin's calling you out.
I guess we'll be playing more Grease Fangs. If you want to, like, go ahead. I'll kill vehicles all day.
Arhelion is a definite threat on turn 3.
It is.
I mean,
Um,
this is factual.
But my thing about Rip that got me is, okay, so I was building this in a CDH context, which was stacks out the board, put Rip down, use that as card advantage, play it kind of similar to like Elevere and other commanders of this mana cost play.
Mhm.
But I couldn't find a way where I was consistently getting cards, and the cards I want in the right order. Although top deck tutors were very, very helpful. So that's something, and vehicles are not very useful in a CDH context. There's only like 3 of them you would play. And one of them's Clown Car, so no.
Yeah. One of them is Clown Car.
So, that said, like, this is actually just like a fine deck. It draws you 1 to 3 cards every turn. And if you play with a lot of tutors in your deck, it's even better.
6.
Probably 5, 6, somewhere in that territory.
I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt.
You're gonna go for the benefit of the doubt?
It is Selesnya. Like, what?
Yeah.
So you're in green, and you have good removal. So like,
you got good removal. You're in green.
you got good creatures.
You got really good creatures. You have decent vehicles. Like,
yeah, it's a hard one to evaluate though, because it's just the inherent randomness to it.
Yeah.
Which again, that's Magic, but
oh boy,
it comes out on top pretty well.
A stupid freaking card. I hate everything about Victor Valgavoth's Celestial?
Seneschal, I believe.
Yeah, one
We skipped
white
pronouncing
black,
that word last time it came up, so.
1 white black for a 3/3 legendary creature human warlock with Eerie. Whenever an enchantment enters, and when you fully unlock a room, surveil 2 if this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn. If it's the second, each opponent discards a card. If it's the third time, put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Jason, how often are we playing 3 enchantments and or unlocking rooms in one turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Realistically, the thing you're doing here is you're just tutoring out Flickering Ward and similar cards that just return to hand and replay, True Conviction, whatever you want to call them. Or not True Conviction, it's a different Conviction. Yeah. It's okay. 3-mana 3/3 commander is fine. Like, your Animate Deads are enchantments as well, so that's like kind of something. There's overlap there.
I just don't think it does enough or anything.
No, I don't think it does enough. Can we check the EDH rec on this one? Because, like, this is one where I'm going to need to see what people are doing to actually give a good idea if we are consistently able to do this through a fair source. Because, like, 1 enchantment a turn? Yeah, I think we can do 1 enchantment a turn playing very fairly.
I mean, we could do like
the
enchantment
Lightbringer
creature
here.
blink, like teleportation circle, enchantment creature blink.
Yeah.
How many enchantment creatures do we have? I feel there's a good number of them.
Oh, there's a good number now. Black White in particular has a lot of good, like, really solid enchantment creatures. Although I'm not counting Grim Guardian as one of them, unless you're doing a loop with that thing.
Yeah.
The Pegasus, the 4-drop Pegasus from Theros.
Yeah,
Does
but
that
those
make
aren't enchantment.
Those
It
are
doesn't
not
make enchantment ones. Otherwise, it would trigger itself, and it would just lead you in a loop.
You know, you make a valid point.
However, there is also a thing
good.
in this set that makes it so all non-enchantment permanents or non-aura or whatever are enchantments in addition to their other types.
Alright,
There's a
rune.
mono white card that does that now,
Yeah.
and it is a rune.
It's
So
not
you
where
put
it
this in
happened.
and you get to play essentially with that. There's the Ondu Spirit Dancer, I want to say, as well, that comes in that is that the
See you, Kelvin. Yeah, I think it's that one.
It's worse Sephiroth. I feel like Sephiroth does
Maybe
it a lot
it's-
differently.
It's not a blue card, right? I'm pretty sure it's a white card, right?
It's that one right there. Non permanents you control.
Yeah, Secret Arcade.
So Secret Arcade plus the Arcana Sun's Grace / Ondu Spirit Dancer.
You can
Anything
create
that
a loop.
enchantment ETB make a token.
Yes.
It goes infinite.
Yes. Although most of them are infinites that you can't break.
Yeah,
So it just stalls the game out.
you draw the game by
You would probably need a sack outlet to at least do your thing. Yeah, there's a lot of clunk here. I'm not a huge fan of this.
this is
I've
this is way too clunky.
Yeah, I've generally found black white enchantments to be in that category of I wish you did something slightly different. The mana category is probably a correct spot for it.
Yeah.
That's where we have Ariette, which is I'm kind of looking at in the same light here.
Yeah, Yeah, honestly, and I
Yeah.
don't think my opinion on Ariad has changed much. I've played against it a lot more now, and I still don't think it does a lot.
The
It just
black
kind
white
of annoys you.
work a lot, and it still just hasn't. Like there was a whole pre-con back in 2015 with Daxos, and that one kind of sucked. And hasn't gotten any better since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really hasn't gotten much better.
When the best
It's,
thing I can say about Daxos is that it makes experience counters.
Yeah.
Not too many kind words for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, we move
On
on.
to some Golgari stuff. Golgari stuff.
Hey, look,
Right.
look, for every single one of you Reaper King players, they didn't forget about you.
Unironically, might need to reevaluate Reaper King. Reaper King has playable cards now. Oh god.
Oh God, what are
That's
we
terrifying.
doing?
So I'll read this off if you guys don't mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
Renma Creaking Nest is a 5-drop, 3 in a black and a green for a legendary artifact creature Scarecrow. Menace and Reach 5/5 that whenever enters the battlefield, or I guess enters now, and whenever you play a card with 2 or more card types, each player creates a tapped 2/2 black bird creature token with flying. The tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. So multi-type playing stuff to then kind of, it's cool.
Mhm.
As a commander, it's probably just average.
Yep.
I'm not sure if the tokens really matter too much. The hoops you're jumping through really aren't that hard. Artifact creatures and are not a hard type to really play.
Artifact enchantment creatures are really good now.
There's a lot of enchantment creatures now.
You can easily make a lot of birds, which are forced to attack. So, well, yes, you are technically giving your opponent's fuel. It's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's goaded. They're goaded creatures, so it's not that bad.
Goaded with the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think
Barrel-
Renmal has like quite a bit it's doing. Because even at minimum, it itself just enters the battlefield and makes a bird for you. It's a tapped bird.
I
Yeah.
mean, each player. So
Mhm.
you make 8 power by playing it. You pay 5 mana to make 13 power on the board.
Yep.
That's not absurd. And then like also parallel lives is kind of hilarious too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is very hilarious.
Yep.
I remember there being something a little bit weird you could do with this because it gives you a token, but I do not remember exactly what it is. I was talking about it with somebody when it was spoiled. I hate that I can't remember. Can we check the EDH rec real quick?
Yep.
I will say this reminds me a lot of Baby Lasagna.
Yes.
But Baby Lasagna, you get to play the lands that turn into artifacts or creatures, and
Wait, does
that
this just say play?
play.
Yes.
So lands work.
Oh.
So you get to play
Yeah.
your Tree of Tales and all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Mm.
Lignify with the tribal or kindred now. That's actually pretty sick. Okay.
Yep.
This is looking better now that we're scrolling down the page.
Yes.
The Barabos' enchantment artifact. Okay.
Did you massacre worm all the birds that you created after they have to attack you?
Oh,
Okay,
solid.
that's cute. I like
I
that.
like it. I like it.
You-
Okay,
okay.
I'm selling myself on this commander as we go down this page.
That's actually pretty cool. Dockside
Yeah,
Shift is an enchantment creature? Okay.
Yes, it is. It's a weird one.
That's a weird one.
Uh,
Bloom Shrieker, okay.
I don't know if I would play Dockside Chef just because it's kind of meh, but
I mean, it does make your birds that you get into card draw.
Yeah, I mean,
True.
Like, it's
I don't
not
hate
the
it, actually.
worst.
It's also just a
Full
2 mana, 2 mana make 8 power, or make 10 power, or 9 power total.
Mhm.
Okay, this is looking more and more interesting scrolling down the page. I'm not gonna lie. Roaming Throne, oh my god.
This is hot. This is probably the hottest thing here.
Oh, that's sick.
Because technically you play, so that means on cast, which means you can impend this, and it still gets you birds for everybody for 3 mana. It's really good.
okay, yeah. We'll see. I'm trying to remember what was the thing though, because there was something about being able to use the bird to loop.
If you make it an enchantment, you just
Ringwall.
make infinite tokens, right?
Oh,
So you
like,
have like some that is there anything that says each creature is an enchantment, similar to like my
Not in this
Kid
color
it's
combination.
in white.
Yeah, it's that effect is in white and in blue-white.
Well, yeah, there's the new room. So
However, you can make everything an artifact in addition to its other types.
yeah, if you play a Mycosynth Lattice, you just make infinite tokens, right? It doesn't have a once per turn limit.
Scroll, please. I don't believe
It
has
also
any
says
sort of
play.
limitation.
You specifically have to play.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I guess I thought about
Here's where
that.
you play. Yeah, that is correct. So you don't get to just go infinite. But when it enters, though, you get to do it. Again, I feel like I remember talking with somebody about this.
There's gotta be
Oh,
some
right. It's a Nim Death Mantle commander.
Ah, checks out.
You can give your opponents infinite birds and then kill them.
Okay, you maybe.
That was the thing. You just give your opponents infinite birds,
And you kill them.
and then they die.
So
So you at least kill 2 people.
you kill 2 people, and then the one opponent left has infinite burst to kill you with. So you have to.
You have to survive somehow.
Yeah, that's when you slam a massacre worm in their face and you just go.
Sure.
There's that. Also, just play Sandworm Convergence and pray they don't have removal.
Yeah? Like,
Villains.
you
Scroll
can play all-
down. There's a card I've never seen before. Scroll down a little bit. What's this one? Raking Canopy. Scroll down slightly more.
So even when it's at the end of the game.
So this is actually hilarious, and I love this.
Okay. This commander, I think we can agree. You're fine, Caden. I'm just joking. I think we can agree that at minimum, this commander is adorable.
I love it.
I love it.
This is one of those cards that just like it does the thing. It does something
Mhm.
unique. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's doing something very, very interesting. It is kind of just Golgari stuff. You can just play this as straight up Enchantress if you like. Ha,
Yes!
Let's go, baby!
Yes!
You can play this as Babula Saga, whatever you want to do, right?
You can play Scene of the Crime unironically. That's hilarious.
It is a
that's
clue
so
land.
funny.
Artifact Clue. I think this is solid. I think it is maybe doing something a little cute in terms of the good, but I think it's probably a 5.
Give it a 5.
I think it's 5. Pretty safe.
Like, it has things that go wrong for it, right?
Oh,
But
when
also-
the things go wrong, they go very wrong.
Yeah. That's the issue. But it is one of those commanders that can do something very, very cool and very cute, and I'm hoping that I'm not overrating it as a result. All right.
5 is a safe bet for sure.
All right, on to the next one.
On to the next Scarecrow. That's infinitely not as fun.
It's the Swarm Weaver. 2 and a Golgari for a 2/3 legendary artifact creature Scarecrow. When it enters the battlefield, you make 2 bugs with flying and Delirium as long as there are 4 or more card types and among cards in your graveyard. Insects and spiders you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch.
I'm
It's mini
sleeping.
Hornet Queen.
I sleep.
It's not great. Is another Nim Death Mantle commander if you would like it to be.
hmm
Yeah.
However, it does have the big weakness of the tokens that it makes are not artifacts, so you don't
You
get to
have
use
to go
KCI for it.
You have to use Ashnons for sure.
Yeah, Ashnons is your only option unless you start doubling your tokens, which you can do. It's got support, it's just not great support. It also doesn't enable its own Delirium in any way.
hmm
It's just a payoff for Delirium. And what it's going to tell you to do, because I bet you if we look at this, it's going to be bugs. It's just bugs. Like,
wow, Jason.
who
how
would have
did
thought
you
that people
guess?
saw a Typal deck and said, we're going to play bugs? Like,
Bugs and spiders.
We'll call up Cameron.
yeah, like, I don't think bugs is the way you actually want to play this. I think you actually just want to play this as a Delirium deck with some, like, reanimation stuff, but at the same time, you got to fill out the deck with something, and bugs is what it tells you to play.
Yeah. And bugs are not very good.
Especially this type of bugs.
Yep.
However, I'm not going to defend this card as a card, but as a character, let me just say, the Swarm Weaver has the most fucked up lore, and it's fantastic.
Would you have to give us a small insight into that?
Oh, yeah. So the Swarm Weaver was a elf scout that messed up. I would put it at 3, but
Yeah, I'm trying to be generous and say like 4, but no.
So it was an elf scout that messed up. It went the wrong direction, basically, and wound up with a bunch of, it's either corpse wasps or corpse bees. And they are bees that make a hive inside of your body.
Neat.
While you're still alive. And they feed off of you supporting, so they're parasitic.
Nice.
The elf, realizing that it messed up, did the one thing it never really wanted to do, which is voluntarily turn itself into a wickerman. Wickerman in this plane is basically, they're the scarecrows, and if a shard, a splinter of them gets in you and stays, it converts you into a wickerman. So to escape the pain of the bees, it voluntarily turned itself into a wickerman. Except, that didn't make the bees go away. They're still there. Still inside of its bit of skin that it has, and trees, and the bees have made it home. So the only reprieve this thing finds from the bees is finding other people to infest, and it only gets temporary relief, because the bees do come back.
I'm sorry, every time Jason says bees, I always think back to the clip, and Ethan knows the exact fucking clip I'm thinking of. The bees are nothing to fear. Ethan.
Do I know the clip?
You should know the clip.
I don't know the clip.
Oh,
I don't know the clip, but either way, bees.
I'm just thinking of a Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm. I give this a 10 out of 10 on the lore and a 3 out of 10 on power level.
Yeah,
I'll give it
a 3. I'm giving it a 3.
So now pretty much look up the bees are nothing to fear.
Yeah, it's what happens whenever you replace darkness in Kingdom Hearts with bees.
Oh, never played Kingdom Hearts.
That's just disappointing to hear.
Hey, I just want a lot of people, all right? You are no exception.
All right. Time for the face commander.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
All right, so, yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm cynical about this card. Winter Cynical Opportunist is 2 Ngolgari for 2/5 legendary creature human warlock with Death Touch. Whenever Winter attacks, mill 3 cards. And then at the beginning of your end step, you may exile any number of cards from your graveyard with 4 more card types among them. If you do, put a permanent card from among them onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. This is just way less interesting than the Scarecrow, dude.
And we talk about the fact that this is worse than Kona.
Yes.
Like, okay, I appreciate that it puts more cards in the graveyard, and we are playing with black, so we get more synergy there. Yes, I appreciate it. Also, thank you, Robbo. However,
I'm sorry, Robbo. I'm the worst.
Sure, it's going to be able to attack, it's going to be able to mill. People are probably not going to actually block your 2/5 Death Touch too often. Like, legitimately, I do think you get away with that. However, returning a permanent with a finality counter, it's okay. It can be really big, because it can be like Kona, right? Where Kona just puts in a big dumb anything at once, and it's very powerful. But this is seen from a mile away. People know what you're trying to do, and they can just interact with it.
Yep.
And also, finality counters stink, and I'm still not over that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the worst thing ever, but I think they're actively bad, and when I can't flicker them.
Yes. And green-black is not exactly the best at that. It can remove counters, though.
With the Ozolith, obviously, you can put finality counters in your other things, right?
There are very, very few instances in green-black. This is so where I've defended Mirko on saying, like, okay, sure, it puts her finality counter on it, but all you need is 1 reanimation of stuff. This is way too many fucking hoops to jump through to get 1 singular reanimation.
Yeah, it's weird to say that this is a little bit harder than Mirko to get going, because Mirko actually is kind of hard to get going after a while. But at the same time, like, you really have to make sure that 1 card really pays off, and you have to do a whole lot of the, like, you got to play a bunch of multi-type spells, the same way that the other commander from this, the Scarecrow needs to, right? But at least with the other guy, the reward is immediately putting something into play, whereas with Winter, it's you got to get to your end step and hope that you get to put your thing into play. And you're also removing Delirium from your graveyard, potentially, but if you're playing Golgari correctly, you're going to have Delirium all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think it's a 4.
4.
I say 4. I just really want to play the other Scarecrow. Like honestly, it makes me like that precon upgraded sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not.
You don't even play the precon at all. Like there's nothing in the precon that supports that scarecrow realistically. You just build a deck for the scarecrow, Ethan.
Yeah.
Hit me up after Vegas. We might have to make this happen. Let me survive financially after going to Vegas and back. We'll talk.
All right. At this point, I don't think we're going to get to the other commanders we had thought about, aside from these ones.
I think we're just doing Duskmourn. We had to address the rules committee stuff. So
yeah, we did. That was a big change.
Yeah.
Chat, so you're aware we were going to reevaluate a lot of the Enchantress commanders, but now we're not going to have time to do that.
We will make it through the set because there's not that many left.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of Enchantress stuff that's come out recently, so we felt the need to talk about it.
Yep.
But now we can talk about Arabella.
Ooh.
This card's sweet.
So, Arabella, Abandoned Doll. Boros for a 1/3 legendary artifact creature toy. Whenever Arabella attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. Make it a token, swing it with the Arabella.
It's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kills fast.
I like the thought of this card in decks such as Anim Call that already have the go wide engine. This is just a way to kill people. It reminds me a lot of Alabu in that case, but this hits each opponent, not just a target, and the life gain is relevant.
Yes, and I want to say outright, like, artifact creatures, artifacts in general is not too bad, but Alabu really wants you to be, like, artifact creatures to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures with power 2 or less is a lot easier than artifact creatures.
Yeah.
This is so much easier to work with. So, I found this commander just kills quickly, as Sammy mentioned. Like, even if it's not doing a ton right away, it's still doing a lot. It does have its weaknesses, though. Like, you basically only get one swing with Arabella before she dies. People are going to block it right away.
You fold.
So you need to make that swing count. Right. But when you can just, like, pay X into a Totentan's whatever that song, Totentan's song is, just a fireball that makes you X tokens. You can play a bunch of these. If you want to go the mana route, you can go the slower token producers that like make something every turn, and you can play with Welcoming Vampire and Caretaker's Talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of really good card draw, and you can play this deck fast or slow. So,
yeah, it's good both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 2-drop commander. Like, even paying upwards of 6 mana for this is perfectly fine.
Yes. And being an artifact matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sammy mentioning the Reconnaissance and the Dolmen's Gate. Yeah, like, Erois as well is something you can play if you'd like to do that. I remember, you wouldn't want to play the Tajik, because I believe the Tajik is non-combat damage that would be dealt to your creatures is prevented.
Damage.
So, not great there. Also, one of the other weird characteristics of this is you don't want to increase Arabella's power.
Yeah.
Like,
you can put one counter on it.
Right. You can do 1.
+1/+1. Like, that's it.
1.
You get 1.
That's all you get. So sometimes you need some things to help you with being able to attack every turn. Again, not the worst, not the best. Solid 6, maybe 7 for me.
I'm thinking 7, personally. It does just kill people. Like,
It does.
I got domed on turn 5. Like, the entire table took 7 on this attack swing the other day.
Mm-hmm.
On turn 5. Like, that's just really good.
That's a good point. It does work with Infect, so that's nice. There's not too many ways to give Infect. Grafted Exoskeleton is probably the only way in this color combination to do it. I still don't think it hits that 7 for me. I think it's still a 6, but
it just kills people so fast.
I probably need to see more of it before I'd say with certainty.
High 6. So I'm not sure if y'all care about the order or not.
Not
so like
really. It's somewhere between 6 and 7.
I'll go with you guys on a 6. I think, just from what I've seen and also the experience I've had with it.
Mm-hmm. It's got a 10 on the support, and it's got
not terrible
flexibility, honestly. Um,
And it's also not impossible to rebuild from getting board wiped.
that is very true.
So
It plays a long game, Impressive Will.
it only deals damage and has no protection. Sure, it's also 2 mana. Like, and it starts doing something the turn after it comes down. So
yeah, I am putting a note on this one that this could be a 7 because it's so fast, but we just didn't give it the benefit of the doubt this time.
Night, Caden.
Hi, Caden.
Hey, Caden.
All right, what's next?
Oh, Ethan,
Right.
it's your favorite card.
I was gonna say I like the Balloon Man, and I'll talk about the Balloon Man. The art creepy though.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
isn't
the
that the
dog-
point?
This is true. It is the horror set. The Jolly Balloon Man is a Boros commander, 1 in Boros, legendary creature, human clown. It's a 1/4 with haste. Pay 1 and tap it to create a token that is a copy of another target creature you control, except it is a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types, and it has flying and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next instep. Activate only as a sorcery.
Mhm.
So, I'm trying to think the best way to describe this. It's very similar to the red copy effects that have been going on recently. You have things like Jaxus, you have things like Orthian, you have things like Rionia. So you get to do that kind of red copy things, but you get better creatures with Boros and white creatures. So you get to play more of a kind of draw cards off of things like Spirited Companion. You get some combo lines with like Kiki Jiki and Village Bellringer. You get to have some token doublers with Ojer Tak and Anointed Procession. You get a lot of tools. And you get really good removal because you're in that white. Skull Clamp is great here because you make the tokens and you just sack them to Skull Clamp because you're going to lose them anyway. It just does a lot of cool stuff. I like this card a lot. It having haste coming down, so the turn it comes down, it's 4 mana copy a creature, and the pass that is just 1 mana copy a creature every turn. It's hi.
Yeah.
I wish it had different art. I wish it wasn't a Balloon Man, because the art makes me not want to keep it around. If it was like a Balloon Burger Commander, I would have this deck built last month, and I'll keep it around forever, because I love it. But the art just doesn't do it for me, because I'm being a little...
You would keep this as if there's some badger walking around with balloons.
Yeah.
Yo.
If it was a badger that like was like making little wood dummies, like I would keep that around. But I just
Look, chat,
Not
we've
doing
what the
actively been
horrors
on the
are.
record of Ethan just needs to get an altar of this commander and just shut up
Probably.
about it.
Bravo. Let's go Dockside.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
wait.
just dying at that. Yeah, I guess I should mention this now. How the bans ultimately affect Zur Scale is actually not that much. These were the cards that were banned were ultimately very, very powerful ones, and they kind of fall into the category of where we would put optimized cards. Like a lot of people just won't play them because it's out of budget or it's not the game they're trying to experience. They'll self-police it out, and you'll see a lot of decks just choose not to play it as a result, which gives it a lower play rate for us to work with when evaluating the decks. So
There
Doc-
is like 1 or 2 exceptions to that.
I probably would have talked about Dockside specifically in relation to Jolly Balloon Man, so that would have been one that would come up here, but ultimately it doesn't affect it much.
Yeah.
Sanctuary working with Jolly Balloon Man.
So anyways,
Card draw?
7?
7?
Ooh, I was almost going to go 8.
Oh, I'm cool with that.
I kind of want to go 8.
Eight.
I think Jolly Balloon Man is just thinking about the basic red-white flicker deck, right? Like, compared to what Norin wants to do, right? I think we actually have a real engine here, something that people are actively going to try to break and do stuff with. We know how good Fable of the Mirror Breaker has been, just on the backside.
Mhm.
So, like, that is what this is on the front side. I think that does a lot, actually.
Yep. All right. Most interesting Simic commander we've had in a while that isn't named Nadu Winged Wisdom.
Fair. I'll give you that much. Alright, so this is Kiane Corrupted Memory. 2 and a Simic for a 2/2 legendary creature illusion. As long as Kiane's power is even, you may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. So long as her power is odd, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter onto Kiane. I'll be real with you, Chief. This is interesting, but I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good.
If you're trying to do Simic card draw stuff, you have Kaidel.
3, 4?
Yeah, I think it's probably a 4.
Yeah.
Like, it is at least Simic telling you to play creatures and give them flash.
Mm-hmm.
It just asks you to do some big hoops to jump through, but it's still powerful. Just not great, I should say. Well, that was quick.
I
Next
mean,
commander.
Yeah. Once again, most interesting Simic commander. Can we just give this thing a 1 or a 2 for prime numbers and call it good?
But you see, 5 is also a prime number.
7 is also a prime number.
Yeah, but you see, this thing sucks.
Oh god, that just lists out all the prime numbers over there.
Yeah, they do. Yep. Here they are.
Okay, so Zimone, all questioning, 1 in a Simic for a 1/1 legendary creature, human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if a land enters the battlefield under your control this turn, you control a prime number of lands, create Primo the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, and then put that many 1/1 counters onto it. This is so much headache.
At your end step makes a legendary 3/3.
It's a big boy. Maybe.
This is maybe the worst Simic Lands commander they've printed.
I mean, doesn't Original Zimone give it a run for its money?
Original Zimone gives it a run for its money.
I don't even know what that one does, but I can bet it probably does more than this.
It's 2 mana 1, pay 1 tap, put a land into play, and 4 mana tap, draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, you draw 2 cards instead.
Yeah, I'll say that's better than this.
Damn. All right then.
Where we had that old Zimone on?
3.
This is a 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, 1 or 2 for prime numbers.
All right, sure.
That's the wrong Zimone. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
I mean,
that's the wrong one. It's okay, guys.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is very much the wrong one. Because now we have the broken one. The absolutely downright disgusting one.
Yep. Alright. Zimone Mystery Unraveler. 2 in a Simic for a 3/3 legendary creature, human wizard with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield whenever a land you control enters, manifest dread if this is the first time this ability has resolved. Otherwise, you may turn a permanent you control face up. I do not believe this card is a menace to society. However, I will give it the credit of landfall make a dude is already good. Selectively making crazy looking thing, also good. And then it does Eudora combos, and that's just a fuck yeah for me, bro.
Yeah, this card's absurd.
For those of you unfamiliar with what Eudora does, Eudora is a 5 mana 5/5 tree folk druid that whenever a creature you control dies, you exile it. You return it to the battlefield face down. It's a tree.
It become tree.
It become a forest.
It is a forest. So if that is the second time that Zimone's ability has triggered, you can turn it face up. If the creature that you put into play has 0 toughness, it dies again, triggers Eudora. There you go. You can tap it because it's a land as well, so you have generated infinite green mana.
Yep.
Infinite death triggers as well. And infinite landfall for all your other landfall shenanigans that you need in your landfall deck.
That you're incentivized to play. And also, like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, this card's so good.
Oh yeah, this was Ashaya. Yeah, Ashaya also gives you some options for doing some of these combos. Not quite as much because Eudora is just irreplaceable.
Also, have we hit enough? Have we hit like? Oh god, what is the name of it? Have we hit enough of these manifest / cloak / morph creatures that are actually good on good enough on their own to where getting to flip them up for free is just
No.
Okay.
The ones that put it in themselves are not good. However, I should specify, if there's a creature that, like, say it has Cloak, right? And it wants you to put that card face down, that card is bad. Like, it needs you to jump through too many hoops.
Okay.
Already. And even if Simone puts it into play for free, it's still pretty bad. Even if she turns it face up, it's still pretty bad. Honestly, none of them are that attractive of cards. Some of the old morphs, like, you know, the old Pickles combo with Brine Elemental, where you just get to keep all your opponent's permanents tapped down, like, that's still fine. Yeah, and there's at least enough things that put things into play face down that maybe it's worth it. Because, like, I should mention, I don't like it when it is, the card itself puts itself face down, but if something else tells you to put it into play face down, that's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
It means you don't get to work with your ETB abilities, which is a bit of a shame. But, hey, Kozlek.
It also helps that Manifest Dread is, like, really, really good mechanic.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
really good mechanic.
Yeah, Manifest Dread is...
Who would think that Manifest, but slightly better, would be that much better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it is just old Manifest, but you get to select what you put down, and that's all you really needed.
Yeah,
even if you put a couple bad things down, it's fine.
Also put something in your graveyard, which is not irrelevant, because you can just dump lands in and then replay them with your Crucible World effects.
Yeah. Simic is not exactly the best graveyard color combination. However, Simic Self-Mill has always existed, so, you know, not to say that it's not pretty solid. I still don't think this commander is, like, busted. I think there's probably a split, depending on how hard you go on Eudora combos.
I think it's at least here, if not here.
I'd say 7.
I don't think it's a 7 base. Like, I think the Eudora combos put it to a 7. But I think as a deck, it's somewhere between, like, a normal deck, I think it's like a 5 to 6 range.
I was thinking 6 personally. But... like, y'all are, like, talking, like, really high on it.
I need to see more
like,
of it.
super duper impressed. Like, it's cool. I can do the combo stuff, but, like, I'm not saying it's, like, breaking the world. It's the best thing since sliced bread.
It takes a good number of pieces.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad.
I was going to say, your pieces are stuff you're already playing anyways in Landfall.
That is...
And that's why I'm like,
yes.
Okay, yeah, it takes a number of pieces, but you're already playing those pieces. They're not stuff that it's asking you to not play.
And this is a commander I have seen in play. Played against it a couple of times at this point. It definitely is solid. And again, the Manifest Dread support cards have brought it up a little bit. I'm still not convinced it's above a 6, though. Right? I can see the 6. For me, it's a benefit of the doubt 6. But it is good. It's at least very firmly, is a very convincing 5 for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm cool calling it 6 and moving on from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. My most disappointing card in the set.
You want to read it then?
Yeah. This is Amanat Veil Piercer. 1 in Esper for a 2/4 legendary creature human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, Surveil 2. Each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. Its Miracle cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 4. Most notably, this is hilarious because we just had a short go out today calling this card great. I am
you can see
of the exact opposite opinion.
There are definitely differences of opinions on these cards.
Yeah.
It is very funny.
This card is way too slow.
Yeah, you are an Esper, which, slow color combination for the most part. But it's a lot of setup and not a lot of benefit. Like, I don't know, the enchantments that you're cheating into play on this have not impressed me.
Not
What
are you trying to cheat in? That's like you need the miracle cost for.
Well, like there's Omniscience if you want to. But
Omniscience if you want to. Wait, what is it, like, Foresee the Infinite? Or
one with the multiverse?
Yeah, one with the multiverse.
Mm-hmm. You can play with the enchantment creatures. The thing is, this is one of those commanders where it's not doing anything if the commander is not in play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your deck
You're playing really
sucks.
slow and treacherous.
Like,
Yeah, like the deck itself just isn't doing anything because you're trying to build around the idea of getting these big cost reductions, which I don't think is worth it. Or at least it's not worth it to go deep on that. But it would also encourage you, like the old Amanat, to focus on manipulating the top of your deck. It does it naturally, but you can do it even better.
Mm-hmm. But once again, it's just too slow.
Yeah. I think she's fine. She's just slow. She's like 4 for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on.
She makes her
4.
30 cost 1 mana, and like that seems good enough, right?
Yeah. I think there's enough situations where you high roll something where like you're not interrupted, where something is good. But I also don't think that she's like she herself is not that strong. It's the enchantments that support her that are good enough. But
So I just need to not be playing against green, is what you're telling me.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you don't have to worry about Dockside.
I mean, that is almost an actual point on itself. Let's put it that way.
It is very relevant, honestly.
What we got next?
Not as relevant as it is for this next commander, if it wants to. There we go.
Okay.
All right, Jason, take it away.
Master of Keys. This is X in Esper for a 3/3 legendary creature or legendary enchantment creature horror with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you put X counters on it and mill twice X cards. And each enchantment card in your graveyard has escape. Its escape cost is equal to its mana cost plus exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard, aka Underworld Breach, but for only enchantments.
It's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
This card's sick.
It's really cool. I really like it. I'm also still of the opinion it's not that strong.
I don't know how it
Even
wins how it actively wins the game half the time.
Mhm.
No clue.
Yeah, that's so. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to talk about this without talking about the CEDH build of it. Let's check the card analysis really quick. But chat, if you generate infinite mana to win with this in CEDH, all you need is to be able to produce. Once you produce infinite mana, you need Esper plus Black. Esper casts you your commander. Black casts Animate Dead. You get Thassa's Oracle. Win the game.
I don't think we're technically in like 41% is Thassa's Oracle. Is that too much CDH or?
That's about like it's almost an even divide then, because I don't think the casual decks are playing Oracle much.
Like,
I guess more importantly, where's Demonic Consultation? There's one of the issues of feedback loops when you work with EDH Rec. So
it's only 32%.
That's still a significant enough percentage that we have to at least mention
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge it and say like we are removing a substantial number of these stacks.
Okay.
If we remove it completely. So it's going to have to do we're going to have to do a normal and optimized rating here with consideration for CEDH, even if the non there will be high power casual builds that play to the CEDH win cons and things like that.
All right. So I think this card is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably somewhere in the 7 territory because it is both an outlet, like it is the mana outlet for if you're trying to do combo chicaneries. It also is just a way to draw the equivalent of probably at least 3 cards the turn it comes down, and it's a pretty good blocker at that point and attacker.
Yeah. Also, I'll just be outright with this. I did brew a CDH build of this, and I have actually played it. Like, it's not easy to see it, but, you know, there it is.
There it is.
I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how you actually go about playing this deck, because it has a ton of options. And despite the fact that I had, like, 12 enchantments, there were so many times goldfishing this deck where I would just whiff on enchantments, and I just played, like, a 6 power commander and did nothing. I do think the better builds of this commander go deep on enchantments, which for CDH's purpose is not good.
Mm-hmm.
But for casual Zur Scale purpose.
For casual Zur Scale purpose, if you just sat down and said, I am going to build this as just enchantments.deck, good job. You found the right way to build this.
Hey, that was me. I did it.
And even then it has some weaknesses, right? It still wants a massive amount of mana. And as weird as this is, I know I just said how much the bannings don't affect things too much. This is one of those commanders where Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt really affect this commander.
And
yeah, like for my build, for example, I put Grim Monolith into the deck without even having the power artifact to do the infinite mana with it, just because I wanted that much mana.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. The real goal of this deck is actually to ramp, then play your commander, then start playing the game.
Yep.
Which is a little tough in Esper.
Yeah.
It honestly plays like a green-black deck.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's still solid. Like, it's still probably a 7.
Yeah, I can give it that. The funny thing is, I don't know if I actually rate the optimized build much higher than that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think it's just even 7. I think it probably gets an 8 just for like the CDH specific win cons. We have to acknowledge that, but like the commander itself is probably a 7.
CDH specific win cons, they get a lot better.
Yeah, a lot more efficient.
Well, especially because you don't have to worry about Dockside anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is the things we gain by banning Dockside, by the way. We're not afraid. We can play enchantments again.
And yeah.
I think I do split the split. I do think it gets a 7-8 split. But that's even acknowledging CDH win conditions in this deck and a high power version.
Alright, Jason. Do we get to rate this next one a 1 and call it good?
Yep.
Okay.
Chat, it's winter. I'm just gonna tell you now, you know all those things I've been saying about how Punisher decks get you in trouble? You know? People really don't like when you mess with them.
Except Group Hug does the same thing, except worse.
Well, let's go even further on this. This is Group Hug where you enable your opponents and then you take their stuff away. And I don't care about that ward 2. This thing's dying.
Yeah.
Also, okay, this is one I've actually looked at the EDH rec for before. People are playing this as like card draw Punisher, like dot deck.
You're just playing this
literally
as
just
Jund Nekusar. That's all this is.
Yeah, this is Jund Nekusar with like 2 of the wheels. It's rough, especially because green is your splash color.
We get ramp from it, so like.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
The green contributes next to nothing. Like, it contributes a couple of things, but it really contributes very little. It gets ramp. You get some better removal, like Assassin's Trophy. But this is not the type of deck or rather, it's not the type of deck where green is meaningfully contributing a lot to what it's doing. I would be happy to be proven wrong, but I do feel winter's somewhere in the 1 to 2 range.
I very much agree on the 1 to 2. What do you think, Ethan?
I'll give it a 2.
So 2 votes for 1. I put it at 1.
If you won't give it dog water, I'm not gonna like.
You're not gonna object to it?
I'm not gonna angrily message you.
Good to know.
I'll message you sweet nothings, but I won't angrily message you sweet nothings. All right, are we saving my Marv band for the last one?
Yeah, I mean, it is last in the color order.
Okay, cool. All right. I want to read off the Marv band when we get to it.
All right, we have Marina Vendrell here. Wooburg for a 3/5 legendary creature, human warlock. When Marina Vendrell enters, reveal the top 7 cards of your library, put all enchantment cards from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then she also has the tap ability to lock or unlock a door of target room you control, activate only as a sorcery.
We have the obligatory Wooburg commander. Yeah,
that has the set mechanic on it.
I'm not impressed by it, but also I don't think the rooms are that great. You're paying a lot of mana to get these rooms down, and then you're also that's a 5. It just feels very mana intensive for not a great payoff, right?
I think there are certain rooms that are quite good. They're very few and far between.
So I'm of the same opinion that rooms is not the way that you really want to go with this. I think the optimal build of this commander is just enchantments plus flicker.
Draw 7.
boring.
Draw 7's
That's just-
pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just boring, man.
Yep.
I mean, I at least find the flicker build to be exciting, but yeah, EDH rec for a second. Yeah, when 90% are playing rooms, you know, we're rating a rooms commander. We're rating rooms as a mechanic right now. Love it for limited.
This one, quite good. This one, quite good. The green one here, pretty solid.
Yep.
Then there's the rest of them.
There's so many like small things about this commander that I would love if I could change it, right? One, she puts the cards on the bottom of the deck, she doesn't mill them. I actually would really like it if she was putting them into the graveyard.
Yep.
That would enable a lot. Locking and unlocking, great. Sorcery speed activation only. No. Why we have to do this only at sorcery speed? I don't think unlocking rooms at instant speed is that big of a deal. Yeah, there's Thassa. Yeah, I kind of view this as like a Thassa Afara deck is what I think is the best build of this. But I mean, you definitely play a good number of rooms.
It just seems so not good.
Yep. And oh, who's the better Punisher Jund Commander? Your luck, by far. Sorry, just got to that.
Yeah.
She honestly is probably still a 4. Like, she's boring to me. She's a lot of mana, but wow, you're in Luberg. Like, you can fuel it. Ethan's just gone.
Ethan disappeared again.
I don't know if that's internet or if that was just, how dare you. Oh, it happened again. Never mind. I was honestly hoping you were just objecting.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a bunch of card advantage with Flicker if you want to do it.
I've got to send something to our good friend Shelby about upcoming trip stuff. So.
Okay. Well. Anyway, yeah, I think she hits a 4. She may be better than I think, but
it also makes
rooms are rough.
Makes her a nice even shape we got going here.
I think I'm actually going to do a split for her, actually. I think 3/6. Like, I think she actually is an above average commander if you just build her as generic Enchantress.
Oh.
Hello. Welcome back.
Maybe. Hold.
Kind of.
Hold, chat. Hold.
Welcome back.
Ethan. Come on, Ethan. Aren't you supposed to not have internet problems now?
No. Apparently, I pay for fiber that just seppukus itself twice the one time I'm on live stream. Are you kidding me? Like, do you think I could like call AT&T and get a credit for this? Because like this is actually pissing me off. Okay. So hey, rooms, we give it a 4. Neat, cool.
Anyways, Ethan, for the final one.
All right, Marvin Murderous Mimic is a 2-drop colorless commander because colorless is the best, right? Legendary artifact creature, toy. Marvin Murderous Mimic has all activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature. So in Commander, just has the same active abilities of all creatures you control. Neat. In colorless, it kind of sucks. All right, it's good in the 99 of other decks. It's bad. I tried.
It's very interesting. Well, okay, so
it kind of sucks. Was so good.
Sucks. Okay, what are you trying to activate? Okay, Hangerback Walker, neat. Okay, Walking Ballista, like it. There probably are some maybe infinite janky combos you can get, but like it's so much work.
Wait, are you telling me you don't want to turn this into a Palladium mirror, Ethan? Come on.
While very, very appealing, because you know I like colorless ramp. No.
Okay.
No.
So, actual question here.
Actual answer.
What does Mirror Galvanizer read again? Pay 1 to untap another target mirror?
I tried to work on this list like when it got spoiled that day, so I really don't recall.
Galvanizer. Is that the one that says untap all mirrors? It might be.
Maybe. Let me find it very quickly.
Let's say go to Urtet. You'll find it very quickly.
Yeah. So it's a 3-mana 2/2 that gives other mirrors you control +1/+1, and then you pay 1 tap, untap each other mirror you control.
Yeah.
Okay. So this probably does not work quite as well. I believe there is a colorless way to give it all creature types, or to give it the mirror creature type. I'm trying to remember what the card was, but that is a niche way you can do something that would very quickly generate infinite mana.
Maskwood Nexus does it.
Oh yeah, Maskwood. There we go.
There's that. I think the best way to do it is probably do things like Basalt Monolith combos with making that a creature.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Farb and Pilipala, making infinite mana stuff, but like it just feels like you have no outlet in the command zone. You're in colorless. Really, the only thing that feels cohesive is cards that I put +1/+1 counters on things. A lot of activated abilities that are in colorless don't benefit from having a second creature that has that same ability.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's what I've kind of run into. Like some do, like being able to do 2 Cthulhu Forcemaster like search ups is neat, but
cool.
like
I kind of just value the pseudo haste, right? Like,
sure,
I kind of view Marvin almost as like a once a turn gives a creature haste, so to speak, or for a creature that enters the battlefield, right? Because at least he can activate that ability right away, usually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced it's great.
I'm not. I think that everything it can be doing, you can do with other commanders that just do it better. If you're doing the +1/+1 counter stuff, you have a Marthas, which again, not sure this is good. I want to try it, but like it's not good. I don't think this is any better than any other colorless option we have.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think it's better than some of the Eldrazi, for example, but by like comparison to say Liberator, Liberator is just like the most generic of its artifacts, but with flash.
Yeah,
and we made our dude big. Yeah, I think Liberator is still better.
I mean, I think I can name 5 colorless commanders off the top of my head right now that are better. I mean, depends on what you're trying to do.
I mean, I can name 2 pretty easily, but
if you're trying to do artifact creature stuff, just play Karn Legacy Reforge.
Mm-hmm.
Then you make mana, and then you can play your things.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't really do anything past like potentially create infinite mana, which I think there's just better ways to do that with other commanders. You can do it Liberator, so you can get that flash advantage to then maybe get to a Basalt Monolith Forsaken Monument combo.
But that's like infinite mana is kind of good still.
This has you come through more hoops for a weaker payout, like for potentially. I'm just not impressed. I trust me. I spent an hour and a half on the day that debatably it may have been at work, but no one can prove that.
The allegations cannot be proven.
If you accuse me, you'll hear from my lawyer.
Colorless creature, Scryfall, and I went through them all. And I was like super hopeful after like the letter B, and I hit the letter C. It's like, oh wait, this is kind of rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's a few cool creatures, like Cryptic Trilobite's cool, but like just play that in like Omarthus. If you're trying to do the +1/+1 counter stuff, play Omarthus. If you're trying to do the artifact stuff, play Liberator, play Karn. Activate abilities is kind of a niche thing, but Marvin can do infinite combo stuff with other colors of creatures in the 99.
That I would love to see this have like red.
Yeah. It'd be super cool. Like you could do potential combo lines with red, probably pretty easy. Don't ask me to name off the top of my head. It's like not past 9 o'clock. It's past my bedtime. Yes. But
old man Ethan over here.
I gotta pack. I'm leaving town for work tomorrow. Okay, I still gotta pack.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
But no,
I
I'm
kind of
not
feel like it's a 3.
I won't even say a 2 personally, but if you want to give it a 3, that's fine.
I'm
really low on the card.
You're feeling the 2?
I'm feeling 2.
Okay, then 2 it is.
Because like this card just actively doesn't do enough.
They could print the card that blows it wide open tomorrow, and I'll reevaluate for sure. But currently, I don't. Unless I'm missing something, nothing I've seen has really.
It's just not there. There's nothing. It doesn't do anything.
It does nothing.
It literally
No,
does
it's a
nothing.
difference.
This is no null rod, okay? I'd like to point out that Rabo apparently finds my defeated look to be hilarious, and
Oh,
I'm
that
glad
was so
someone
funny.
enjoyed
I
it.
mean, it was really good.
That was really good.
Well, apparently I should have gotten a lot more lead roles in the plays back in high school, but I was posted to tech in extras.
Oh, my camera has faded me.
Excellent.
She's like
Come
good.
back.
You
can
getting
do this,
faded?
camera.
You're just talking about going to Vegas, right? It's legal there, right?
Hey, yo.
There we go. We did it.
So anyways, final thoughts on our list here?
Yeah, that looks about right.
There's a lot of stuff in the low, like really low.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like the set wasn't designed for Commander or something.
It's yeah.
But hey, the cards that are really good are really cool. Like I say that we have what 5 in the 7 to 8 range, which is awesome, and then like even the average, slightly below average amount of like how many we have, like 27 commanders total, right?
Yeah,
Almost half of them are in the average or above range. I think that's a healthy amount.
I will at least acknowledge this, where, was it Renma? Is its name? Our glory commander there.
Mm-hmm.
That one is kind of a little bit towards benefit of the doubt for me. Like I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
It probably should stay in 5s. I think it can do it. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong though. Nashy similarly is something like it took us convincing to get there, and I think 5 is correct for Nashy. It is just a little awkward. So it's not like I'm the most convinced by all of the cards that are above a 5.
I'm convinced from here up that these are, maybe this one right here for me is a little low, but that's just me personally.
Mhm.
But I'm convinced everything, at least in the 7 and 8, is where it needs to be at. 6s can kind of go, they can fluctuate from here to here.
Yeah,
Very easily.
Yeah,
I could very easily see Rip going all the way down to a 4, for example.
Amanat is quite strong. Think below average is wrong.
I
We
don't think so.
stated earlier that like the deck's just way too slow. Like
it has the potential to do some really interesting things, right? Like you can, well, realistically, you have if you're on turn 4 and you have 4 mana, you play Aminato turn 5, you have 4 mana going into that turn, you could high roll into something like one with the multiverse, and now you have that going the entire game. That doesn't win, necessarily, but it's good.
good. You can high roll into Omniscience. Mid-range hell.
yeah.
My opinions on mid-range hell are very low.
Yeah. I also think that at least how people are playing it, which is a partial consideration here for what people are actually doing with the commander. I saw a lot of cards that were like 5 cost that they just wanted to reduce down to 1. And like that's the whole plan of just make these 5 mana spells cost 1 mana and do that once per turn. The hoops you jump through for just that is not worth it.
Even miracle breaking timing restrictions is generally.
Jason, let's make a comparison to something that we have talked a lot about recently. And I can use my eyes, I can find it on my desk, and apparently it's somewhere. Okay, I know where it's at. Melik Form Researcher, right?
Sure.
The cost reduction of like once per turn is kind of great, right?
Yep.
I have it right here. Woo! The deck that Jason and I have been working on, and I'm loving so far. Instant sorcery can cast at instant speed, reduced by 3 every turn. It's a lot more powerful than an enchantment that kind of does its thing. Instant sorcery can have a lot more flexibility. That cost reduction thing's a lot better for card types like that. For the enchantments, like if you slam an enchantment on an opponent's turn for miracle, only thing you're getting is just the benefit of like getting to play more flexible around your opponent, not making an impactful play.
Right.
Personally.
I mean, to be fair, I do think like a Melik comparison, for example, is a bit apples and oranges, just because of like Melik is a commander where you just want the instants and sorceries in the graveyard. It doesn't matter if they're in play. whereas Amanat needs them on the top, needs your enchantments on top of your deck when you go to your upkeep, or, well, more than likely at your upkeep, because it's pretty hard to do the miracling with that, at least doing it consistently.
Yep.
You do actually have the chance to high roll, which is pretty cool. But I'm not putting my faith in high rolling.
I'd rather be consistent and choose what I'm getting to do, and to do that with the Onomatu, it's a little hard.
Yeah.
I could see maybe a 5.
I do agree. It could potentially be there.
Maybe.
I just
got my experience soured like crazy from it. So.
Oh yeah, like playing
if your
against
opponents know what they're doing, you're not going to get to play the game. So
yeah, playing at pre-con level is probably great.
Yeah,
I think like mid to high power, where people are running more removal and are a little bit more aware of what you're doing, it's not going to be a pretty situation. But I'd let me prove it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to prove us wrong, join our Discord and play with us on Saturdays.
Hey,
nice transition. Nice transition.
Like, playing against a lot of these commanders has actually just come from people in our Discord who were like, "Hey, I brought this. I want to play it." And we're like, "Hell yeah, dude! You give us the experience to actually see these commanders, help us reevaluate what we're doing." We genuinely appreciate it when people come in and say, like, "No, you're wrong. I'm going to prove it." Like,
sick.
Genuinely, I appreciate it. If you show me where I am wrong, I am very happy.
Show me on the doll where I'm wrong.
Just hold up Marvin and just go, all of it.
All of it. It's at least 3, Ethan. Come on.
But be like our favorite chatter today, who's been just killing in the chat, Robbo. He's there every week, killing us in some games with some Unga Bunga gruel gameplay.
Plus, he's being a degenerate Warhammer player. Come on, SMH.
Hey, I can't talk trash on that anymore. I've tried Warhammer now officially.
It was pretty great, wasn't it?
That's a whole other topic.
I almost got him, chat. Damn it.
Anyway, I think we're good to go here. Everyone, thank you all very much for joining us today. We appreciate you all coming out and watching the stream with us. I hope you enjoyed the content that we've made today. Getting to discuss about both Zur Scale for Duskmourn and also that banned and restricted, because today is wild for that. So, a lot of fun stuff that we got to do. If you want to hang out with us, of course, we have our Discord, we have our social medias. Go follow us there. Check out our videos every Saturday for our gameplay videos. We're going to have more Duskmourn coming out this week. I'm not going to tell you who's in those games, but you can enjoy them.
There might have been some slight spoilers on my end, but it's okay.
Sneak peeks.
Anyway, thank you all again for coming out. We appreciate y'all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.